Hey, hi, you guys. Hello, hello. I'm here. What are you up to today? What was your day like? I see Derigo first in chat. Well, shout out to Derigo and the rest of our mods who helped me keep my brain cells together, keep the House of Chords running smoothly. I see Fox, you're here, as is Quinn Miss. Well, welcome, welcome. Thank you so very much for being here today. It is so appreciated. Just gonna make sure I got all my chats set up because I now stream in 3 places at once. For some reason. Okay, YouTube, seriously. There you go. Now I should be able to see YouTube comments. Alright. Oh, yes indeed, I am here. Hello, hello. Makeup says trans rights. Well, close. It doesn't really have white in it though. It's mostly blue and pink. I do have a trans flag makeup design in mind. Unfortunately, I missed both like very big like trans rights events, like days of remembrance, things like that. I'll be doing it hopefully soon though. White stars? Yeah, I guess. This is true. This is true. This one is not this one is not specifically for that, but you know what? If it harkens to it, I'm not gonna complain. Yeah, this one we're going with, it was like a pastel Nebula type of makeup that I really liked. It was going around Pinterest a few years back, and every once in a while I'll pull it back up. Oh, hello, Vixie Pixie. And yeah, if you guys like this, I actually just started, because a lot of people have asked me for makeup tutorials, so I am going to be posting some makeup tutorials on my main TikTok account as a, because TikTok lets you do subscriptions. So makeup tutorials are very heavy. They're very time and energy intensive. So I was like, you know what? Let's put this up as an extra subscription thing. So I actually do get compensated for my time and efforts. So there is now an almost 10-minute long subscriber only tutorial for this particular look. So people can actually see what it is that I'm doing and get some tips on that, because I mean, yes. Oh my gosh, it was such a long day. You guys have no idea. You have no idea how much I got done today. It was a lot. I also got a 10-minute Patreon vid done. It's going to be like a decompression POV. Yeah, so we did this look, did a tutorial for the look, set up a subscription page for the first time with TikTok, posted like 3 or 4 different times today, edited a side quest video, filmed a side quest video, filmed the Patreon video, posted and edited to other places, like, I did so much. I did so very much today. And yeah. Now I'm now here at the end of the day, like, whew. Alright, there is our hydrates. Here we go. We got it. We'll probably be playing some Deep Rock Galactic today. The Marcus is not here this evening. He is doing something with his family. Hi, Mythos. Exactly. We're earning all of it. All of the cheese, all of the things. I'm trying, Sad Kitten. I am doing my best. Oh my word. Sorry, I suddenly got so very warm with the sweater. So I'm just going to take a second to get rid of it, because otherwise I'm going to absolutely overheat. So I'm going to try to take this off without taking the wig with it. Hopefully. Maybe. Oh, there we go. Oh, mercy. I don't know how it got so warm in here all of a sudden, but oh my god. So yeah, I hope you guys have had a great little bit. Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished indeed. Because I haven't talked to you guys since what, last Wednesday? Isn't that for a different one? It's still a core set. We're good. Kino, hi. Hello. And hi, gorgeous, right back at you. Hope you're having a great day. Us cause you're so pretty. Us so pretty. Thank you. I do my best. So, yeah, what's happened since Wednesday? Well, I have started with a new therapist. I think I was telling you guys, like, since I got here to Toronto, I was doing DBT. However, I decided to switch to a new therapist. This one's more on the CBT side of things, which I was a little leery about since my last therapist with CBT I didn't really find to be that helpful, but I think that was also down to the last therapist I had out in Alberta was very young and very new. Like, she had just finished her practicum. I am like crawling into her office. Like, I am a decade older than her practically. Not like a decade, but like I'm just like, I'm a bit older than her. I'm doing a type of job that she's got no experience with and all of that. So I didn't really find those sessions to be very helpful. However, I do very much like the new therapist that I'm now seeing in person, because they're very on top of it. Like, they're very good with like making sure we wrap up with a summary, we get the notes down. Also, thank you for the follow, Chris Firestar. That's very appreciated. Welcome to the House of Court streaming community. You get a welcome boop for that. Thank you. Oh my god. And yeah, at the end, like, he actually gave me like exercises and things to do, whereas with my last CBT girl, it was nothing. It was a whole stinky, like, she was so sweet, but oh man, I'm like, I need somebody battle worn and tested. And no, in this case, I am very appreciative that the therapy that I'm receiving now is so much more structured. And yeah, see, some people find one more useful than the other, right? Not the CBT I'm thinking of. I'm like, yeah, I also am into CBT. Oh, different CBT. Well, I'm like, that would actually be a very funny joke. I don't know if he'd find it funny, but I could be like, hey, we both get paid for CBT. As I mean, the crossover is there. And so part of what I'm supposed to be doing, oh my gosh, hi Calvin. Hello. Well, we're gonna give you a welcome little couple of boops. So 1, 2 for 20, and then 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much. Oh my gosh, Kino. Aw, you get 1, 2, 3, 4 boops. Oh my gosh. Well, you guys, thank you so very much. I very much appreciate that. Thank you. Forgotten that one? Yeah, CBT can have a couple of different meanings. There can be a few here and there. And oh my god, we're one person away from a hype train. How cool is that? What an amazing way to start out our stream here. The problem with acronyms, you don't always know which is which right away. This is so true, though. This is very true. Yeah, you win some, you lose some. It's great. It's good. But the homework. Part of the homework that I've been assigned is to basically do anxiety tracking, because Yagal struggles with her mental health. That's been the case for my entire life. And of course, some people will be like, Rosie, we see the blue hair. We know. We got you. Don't even need to say anything. But the big one for me has always been anxiety. Either anxiety or disassociation. Now, as PTSD came down, disassociation did as well. And now the anxiety's here, and I'm just hyper aware at all times. Because before I at least had that balance of like, oh, things are overwhelming, anxiety's up here, pew, brain gone, disassociate. We don't have that anymore. I actually can't remember the last time I did seriously disassociate, which, that's great. I'm so happy for that progress. But on the other hand, now we've got anxiety, and it's just like, screaming, crying, throwing up. Nah. So now I'm in the place of, well, need to actually address that. DBT, in my opinion, is extremely necessary for those with BPD, but that's a personal thing. CBT is useful as well. Went through entire DBT group, both individual group twice. Technically graduated from both as well. Hey, yeah, I've known a couple of people with BPD, also within like the kink and E&M spaces, who told me that like it was specifically DBT that was the most helpful for them in regards to the symptoms and things like that. The correlation between dissociative episodes and PTSD being triggered is its own combo. No, for real. Oh, yes. Squish me up like a sushi roll, and I will be so happy. I will be thrilled. I'll be in heaven. So, yeah, with my homework, I basically am going to be tracking anxiety triggers and then looking at the trigger. And so, lucky me, I went down to chapters/indigo. I don't even know what you're really supposed to call it. Like local bookstore in Canada, and they had a CBT specific journal for tracking anxiety, and I was like, oh my god, this is for me. So I invested in this journal, and I actually do really appreciate the structure of it, because it starts out with what's the event, like what was the trigger, and then it goes into what thoughts are you having as a result of that trigger. And then you list the emotions that you're happening with those feelings and the severity of those emotions. And then from there, you go and you actually pinpoint some stuff that your brain is doing that may not be helpful, such as catastrophizing, minimizing the positive. Like, there's like this whole list of things. Oh my goodness, we got a little cheer happening there. Well, that gives us a hype train. How cool is that? Also, welcome in, BTS. Hi. Welcome, welcome. Hello. Oh, and a resubscription from BTS for 25 months. That's so cool. Well, that's 1, 2 for 20, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more boops. Oh my gosh, it's good to see you. Next cosplay, Sushi Rosie. You know what? Somebody funds it, I'll do it. That's my rule. If somebody wants to see me do something, I'm like, you pay for it, we'll make it happen. Oh, hi, Harley. Thank you very much. If you have BPD and want to do Spice and you haven't ever done DBT, at the very least completed group therapy, I ain't with it. And I actually am on a very similar page. Of course, like BPD was not a diagnosis that I've had. It's something like, of course, somebody who has the diagnosis is way more qualified to speak on it than I am. I did personally set a few boundaries around engaging with people who have BPD, because unfortunately there is like if you work or do dynamics more on the dom side of things, one of the risks you take is that if you're doing scenes, because kink scenes are headspace. If you're running headspace with somebody who has there's different disorders have higher levels of risk. So I mean, with PTSD, the risk with me was disassociating in a scene, right? So there were certain scenes that I would not do until my nervous system had come through a certain amount of therapy and work, so that I could trust that I would remain present in the scene, because that's something that a lot of people don't take into consideration as a responsibility for, if you because we're talking kink dynamics, right? So you typically have your dom and your sub, and a lot of people think that the dom is the one primarily in charge and responsible, but The submissive actually has an incredible amount of responsibility to stay present and to stay responsive. So if you are a submissive who has things going on with their mental health, or there's there's other things, maybe like what, like before and during, blah blah blah, like you have a responsibility to monitor yourself, monitor where your brain is at, and then communicate to the other person what your status is, right? So unfortunately, there's a lot of people, you would not believe the number of times I've seen a submissive who has a like different, like, name the disorder. They'll get into a scene with a dom, not like basically they'll go into the scene believing that the dom is fully responsible for them. They'll believe that the dom is monitoring them, and it's like, no, actually the dom doesn't know jack shit about what's going on with you unless you directly communicate it. The idea that a dom just knows and is monitoring you, that's like 50 Shades shit. That's smut shit. That's fantasy shit. And that's why it's in fantasy, right? Because the fantasy, the hot fantasy of just receiving and just getting to check out. But the reality is you never actually do get to fully check out. You do have a responsibility to remain with it. You need to be like, if something is happening in this scene, like it's not uncommon for a dom to oh, hello to Cherry Bomb, welcome back. It's not uncommon for a dom to like get the like they'll get like the general idea of what you like in a scene. They'll start running it and going with it, but they're waiting for your feedback. Holy fuck, you wouldn't believe the amount of times a submissive has come back around and been like, my dom's a bad person because he did this, that, and the other in this scene. And I'm like, did you tell them? And they're like, no, you should have known. I'm like, no, you idiot. Dumbass. Like, it's not somebody running the scene and like ad-libbing or improvising and stuff based on what they know of your interests. And if they're improvising, right, and they're running this scene, and then something gets triggered and you don't say anything, you literally just like let them think everything's okay, and then you're just like, and I'm like, you have a responsibility to directly communicate your distress. Right there is an appropriate time to and this drives me up the wall. Yeah, this is sub myself. I make a priority. Keep myself present and to communicate if things need to change. Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is, like, a dom does not know. Oh, and there's our hype train. Thank you guys so much for a hype train starting us off with that. That's so cool. I found my dominant partner enjoys the scene more if I stay present and responsible. Yes, same. And so I actually, people will say stuff like, oh, certain types of scenes, like let's say CNC or whatnot, people will be like, oh, this is healing. And I actually will not run, I won't run scenes like that with people who want to do it to heal. I won't. I'm like, you can do that with somebody else. I'm not taking the risk of your brain going sideways with me. Because I can do everything right. As a dom, if I'm running a scene for you and this is about you addressing trauma, I could do everything right and your brain could still go sideways. And some disorders have symptoms where if something goes sideways, there's no nuance. They will come back around and absolutely fucking wallop you sideways. And I have seen some really good doms be put through the goddamn fucking ringer by somebody whose brain went sideways on them, and there was no nuance, there was like no grace, no nothing. It was just straight to like drama and intensity, and you're like, oh my god. Because like I've been on the kink side of things for a long time, and like I'm connected to a lot of people in kink talk, like a lot of the big kink talk creators. We're all friends, we talk to each other. If I could tell you guys some of like the nightmare stories that I've heard from other creators, other doms, other people, other like community leaders, because yeah, the dom is supposed to be the one who does all the responsibility, has all the grace, but yeah, when it comes to bipolar, when it comes to BPD, when it comes to cluster B, I am very leery about running scenes with people who have those disorders. I need to, like, before I'll run a scene with somebody who has that kind of disorder, I need to see some very clearly demonstrated history of work on your nervous system, so that I have a higher guarantee that your brain won't go sideways on me in a scene, because it's headspace and it's sensory input. So if you combine certain trauma-based disorders with sensory play and headspace, somebody's brain can actually just go like that, and then suddenly they're interpreting the scene as trauma, and now you're the villain, and you didn't even do anything wrong, but their brain has decided that it's in danger, and you're the danger, and you're like, yeah, it's play, not therapy. So, like, if there are, and don't get me wrong, there are plenty of people in the kink space who are very responsible when it comes to their disorder. They're very on top of it. They're very aware. I've seen that, like, there's some people who, like, they did it, like, I've seen, like, they did a scene and they had a trauma trigger, and they know because of their disorder that that's what it was. They didn't blame the dom or anything like that. They took responsibility for their trauma response and mitigated it appropriately without projecting it back onto the dom, because, like, at the end of the day, like, nobody knows what's going on in your head. Only you do. You're the only one who knows if you're disassociating. You're the only one who knows if maybe you had too much that evening. Like, you're the only one who knows what is happening with you, because nobody is monitoring you. You're an adult, and nobody is actually intently watching you to see what your status is. Nobody's doing that. And so it is actually very important for somebody who's on the submissive side to actually monitor themselves. Hi, Phoenix Firefay. Yes, hi, Boop the Floofs. We do have a Twitch. You came in on a little bit of a rant. Find discussing known landmines triggers ahead is super helpful, right? And that's the thing, and that's why I say, like, because you can have that discussion ahead of time. You can learn what people's triggers are, but that's the thing about a trauma brain. A traumatized nervous system is, you could still have something go entirely wrong. You could do everything right and still have everything go wrong. Pre-scene communication, right? But that's the thing, like, you could do pre-scene communication, you can do all that stuff, but there are certain disorders where if their brain registers, something goes wrong, and their brain, for whatever reason, registers you as a threat, you're fucking done. And you don't have control over it. You could give all the affirmation, you could give all of the aftercare, and their brain still thinks you're a fucked up piece of shit who hurt them. Like, that's the problem with certain stuff. So I have seen, I've unfortunately, based on my experience, both lifestyle and work, I've seen it happen too many times where somebody somebody did not take into account that sensory play and headspace would interact with their trauma in the way that it did. Sometimes people are not aware of triggers, and sometimes they find new ones. This is true. So, yeah, sorry if I missed any comments in the rant. Like, this is one of those things where, like, the rant comes out of, like, a sense of frustrated care, because on one hand, it is very frustrating, like, because, like, on the dom side of things, you want to advocate for people and be like, hey, if you're on the submissive side, get your shit together, monitor your own goddamn self, and stay present. And if you in your self-monitoring notice that you can't stay present and responsive, it's your responsibility to convey that and step out. Like, need a lot of people who also BPD do kink who may not be healed to do a certain place in life, to acknowledge mainly that creators have the right to say no when something they want. Yeah, you typically find there's a range. You will find that, in my experience, you'll kind of find a range of submissives, especially in regards to mental health, prior trauma. You'll have the ones who are, like, more advanced down the road. They've done the work, they've done the healing. They know exactly, like, what scenes they can engage with or not, and you don't really see any issues with them because they are at the place to monitor themselves, hold themselves accountable to that. And you can trust that if they're dissociating, they're locking up, there's something else going on, or they can't really be present for whatever reason, that they're monitoring that in themselves, and they're telling you before it hits, so that you can respond appropriately rather than like it hits and you have no idea. And then you've kind of got like, you've got that end of the spectrum to like further on down to like full on temper tantrums and yelling, screaming. Like you basically have the range from like toddler to like self-actualized in the range of like kink and trauma. So for some people are on the one end of the spectrum where you're like, I'm not touching this. We're not going here, not doing it. If I am going to run scenes with somebody who has a trauma-based disorder, like I need to see very clearly demonstrated. They're on the self-actualized, self-accountable, self-monitoring side of stuff where they know that the dom is a human and not a smut fantasy. Like they get it. They get that they are like both adults equally responsible, and as a submissive, if you have prior trauma, you are responsible for that trauma, you're responsible for dissociation, you're responsible for anything else that goes on. Like if you do have a dom where like you are communicating, like you're self-actualized, you're self-monitoring, and you're like, oh, my brain's stepping out of the building, I need this to stop, and you've communicated that, and then they're like pushing for more, then you can be upset with them. But like if you're working with somebody where like you are self-monitoring, you communicate it, and they're immediately responsive, then it's like, yeah, no, they're fine. There's no modeling in real life, unfortunately. Yeah, and that can be very tough too. 2 disorders I know will have a large chance at making other spice creators react to seeing a red flag on surface level. I know that me having DID and BPD put me on a list. I probably need to prove that I am indeed mentally sound to other creators. Personally don't know, though how others cannot realize how others have preference and need to make sure the scene is going to be safe for you and them, right? And that is like the unfortunate reality is that for my own safety, I would need to do that. Because, I talked about this in the past few streams too, where you try to find that balance between, if you have a certain type of disorder, I don't want you to feel like a burden. I don't want you to feel like you're too much, but we are going to be realistic about your symptoms. We're going to be realistic and upfront about how being on the receiving end of certain symptoms can negate my safety. And so, yeah, you kind of, and that is something though where like that tells me, like if somebody has a diagnosed disorder based on prior trauma or a serious mood disorder, and they're able to like straight up be like, yeah, actually you should be checking, like you should, because somebody who is on the more self-actualized side of healing for those disorders, they recognize that certain symptoms can absolutely take somebody's life sideways. Like one of the symptoms of those disorders is literally black and white villainizing somebody. Your brain wants to keep you safe so badly that you suddenly flip on somebody and you cannot see anything else but a bad person. And so there are some times where I've sat with people who've been on the receiving end of that symptom, and it's hard. It is really, really hard to see somebody you care about flip on you. And unfortunately, when that flip happens, that person's brain is telling them that because the person they flipped on is now bad without nuance, anything you do in response to that person, including some truly unhinged stuff, is now appropriate because you're taking on a villain. And you're like, no, actually. And you'll typically see it because you'll watch somebody be like, this person's bad, blah, 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 and then you'll see the unhinged stuff follow that they believe to be appropriate, and you're just like, actually, no, none of what, even if they are what you say they are, the way you're handling it is entirely inappropriate. and intense. So, hi, hello, Survival Blade, who's taking on a villain. And yeah, it's you don't really see people in the kink community talking about this, but if you are on the dom side of things, one of the things you do need to do for your own safety is be really on top of it when it comes to, like, if you're playing with a submissive has a diagnosed disorder, you need to be fully aware that you don't have control over someone else's brain. You could have the best of intent, you could do everything right, but a brain that has been impacted by trauma is not necessarily operating logically. So you could have somebody's brain react negatively to a scene in a number of different ways for a number of different reasons. And you basically, if you play with somebody who has like people who've played with me, people who've done scenes with me as a submissive, they were taking a risk that I might disassociate or something like that. Although that would still be my responsibility. Hi, Bayama. Yeah, autism, ADHD, and kink, even better. So unfortunately, sometimes the symptoms of some of those disorders also push people to do scenes that are risky. Like, they'll do high risk. You'll also see sometimes people with those disorders have attachment. They struggle with their attachment to people. So you might get a submissive with a certain type of disorder who gets, like, they latch onto a dom as what's called the favorite person. And quite often, because a lot of people don't even know this is happening, they will have no idea. Hi, Icy Heart. They'll have no idea that a submissive has latched onto them at that level. Thank you, Librarian. Hello, hello. Basically, when you have an FP, your brain relies on that person and how that person's reacting to you for stability. And also, like, something I'll see is that a submissive who latches onto a dom like that will push themselves to do things they think will please the dom. Like, I have seen submissives push themselves to engage with things, to do things because they think the dom will like it, and the dom has no idea. Like, they'll literally just be doing their own thing, and then you've got this person pushing themselves to do riskier and riskier things in scenes because they think that'll please that person. Sounds like all my friendships ever. Yeah, and then sometimes another thing I've seen happen, like an extension from that, is the person with the attachment problems will push themselves to do things they don't really want to because they think it'll make their FP or, like, this person they're attached to happy. Something goes wrong and they will feel so profoundly embarrassed for pushing themselves that they're in their embarrassment, they'll get ego defensive and then once again come back around and villainize the dom for their own decisions to push themselves to do stuff they didn't want to. And you can't really have a logical conversation with them about it either because they're so ego defensive about it. And you're like, prefer someone to actually maybe need more time to see that my disorders won't interfere, because that shows that they know how my disorder on a surface level works. I have, unfortunately, as someone who has BPD and does both dom and subs, are into people who think the symptoms are okay to romanticize or encourage. That happens too. That happens too. And if we talk about, like, responsibility on the dom side of things, like, you have to make sure you don't manic pixie dream girl somebody, because people with some of these disorders, like, if you get somebody who's got BPD, you've got somebody who's got, like, bipolar, they're on the upswing, they can be so charming, they're high energy, you don't realize it, but they're doing things specifically to please you, mirror you. Being with somebody with that type of disorder can feel so exciting and intoxicating, but if you don't actually know the reality of that disorder, yeah, FP is a BPD thing, if I remember correctly. So, distinctly remember TikTok saying I was a top. I think TikTok doesn't decide that. I think you decide that. I legit have had both subs and doms want to encourage my symptoms, like, don't stop. No, yeah, we do not romanticize a trauma disorder. No. No. And it's also like if you do have like a disorder where you tend to dissociate and things like that, if you're going into kink scenes, you do need to keep in mind that you dissociating, you locking up, can look like a headspace. It can look like a sub headspace depending on the scene. So like the Dom isn't actually going to know that something's wrong based on you not really responding much. Like if you're doing certain types of scenes and you are like disassociation can look like just a subby headspace. So you are taking the risk if you have a trauma-based disorder that you're going to freeze up, things start feeling uncomfortable, and the other person has no fucking clue. And that's and I'm saying that as somebody who has taken, like, when I go into scenes, like, earlier on when I was still, like, for having PTSD, the risk I was taking is that I might dissociate and not really be as responsive. However, if that were the case, then it is my responsibility to be like, yeah, I took that risk. If the scene, if I dissociate in a scene based on my own trauma, the person running the scene, like, they're doing everything, like, we've pre-negotiated, we've got safe words, blah, blah, blah. If I'm dissociating, that's not their fault. I can't come back around and be like, hey, why da 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 da, I'm dissociating, how could you da da da. I can't do that, because they don't know. It's not something that they can mitigate for me. It's not, it doesn't work like that. Sounds a lot like the first romantic relationship I tried to pursue. The worst part was I didn't really know them, so my brain filled in the gaps with my own fantasies. As I spent time with them, I would get angry about the discrepancies between them in my head and the real them. Well, and that's okay, and that's really good that you have that self-awareness, because that is another form of distress that I have seen in kink dynamics and people have talked to me about is that, they, like, one partner basically walloped the other because they were like, why are you deviating from the script, basically? Like, why are you not, like, I've romanticized you, but you do not actually follow along with what my brain has said, the idealized version of you. Yeah, rack before scenes. Had a whole scene stop once because I was staring at the sub. I was playing in that scene with trying to search the audacity because made some comment about wanting to be my FP. Oh god. No. Absolutely not. You just got a job offer letter. That's incredible. Amazing. Congratulatory boops for you. Congrats. And, like, I'm so sorry if I've been missing some comments. When it comes to, like, kink, mental health, all this stuff, like, I can just for days. 34 months from Broken Girl. Well, here you go. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Had a D-type rage and trigger a flashback during normal everyday stuff, and they called me dramatic. Dodged a massive bullet there. Woof. There's no modeling. Yeah, I covered that. Okay. Hello, Sky. Hi. As a dom or sub, do you prefer leather pants or latex? I would say more on the latex side of things. But I also like, what is it that Mr. Pierre uses? The word's not coming to me. Aw. Oh, the brain go brr. If things go well, paperwork could lead to a 300% raise. Hey! New tattoo is all itchy. I have yet to get any tattoos, so I have no idea how to help for that. Vinyl, that's right, because the vinyl frontier for the Star Trek ones. I do really like vinyl. I do really like vinyl for that, so... Exactly, my brain is going... Brrr. So, like I said, like, this is one of those things where, like... they're having a trauma-based disorder, like, it doesn't mean that you'll never be a competent sub or dom or anything like that, but you do need to be self-aware once you got that diagnosis of where your nervous system is in your healing progress, what is or is not realistic. If you have a tendency to push yourself to do stuff to please people based on your disorder, get ahead of that, because you cannot be doing kink, and that that's going to blow up in your face. If you know you have a tendency to have FPs, you might want to wait before you get a dom, because FP and doms, bad combo. If I get tattoos, they'll be too powerful. Listen, the tattoo that I want would be very expensive, hence why I've never gotten it. As of yet, anyway. Hydrocortisone's usually nice, but it's usually for bug bites. Yeah, I guess, like, I don't know if your tattoo artist gave you any instructions about that, but yeah, I think, like, I do tend to have more knowledge of certain disorders than most people do, because I've sat through a few abnormal psychology classes, have a counseling degree of sorts, and all of that. Yeah, so do more, right? And like, once I got my own PTSD diagnosis, that's how I was operating. Like, there was, I'm basically like, no, if I'm out and about, like, I won't, because I am one of those people who I'm like, if there's substances involved, I don't care what you do. You're a grown-ass adult, act within your own autonomy. I will not, because I have a fried nervous system, and I'm not going to combine certain things with a fried nervous system, because I want my nervous system to heal. So we're not going to nerf that. I'm not going to do certain scenes, because there's a higher chance I will dissociate in that type of scene, and I won't run certain scenes with other people, because that I don't know how it'll impact me, right? Like, that's kind of like the thing you need to do is, once you get, if you do get that diagnosis and you're trying to engage with something like kink, you have to be responsible about it, because doms are not all-knowing, they're not omnipotent. And it kind of kills me that, like, I've seen a lot of good doms, competent doms on the receiving end of the symptoms of somebody else's, like, either mood-based or trauma-based disorder. And it's really hard, because on one hand, you know what's happening, but on the other hand, it's not fair to the other person. Yeah, exactly. Doms are not all knowing. Exactly. Safety first, physical and mental. And it also, like, it's really hard, because a lot of doms are very, like, they're very caring people. And so I've had to walk a few people through, like, they had a submissive with a disorder go sideways on them, and then I had to, like, basically be the one sitting with the dom and being like, no, you are not a bad person, you didn't cause intentional harm, this is what's going on, these are the symptoms you're seeing, you did everything right, and it's not fair, it is a disorder though, right? Oh my gosh, bye Emma. And because I am also on this, I'm the type of person who's never going to go, mental health is not an excuse. I don't use that language. If you're seeing certain behavior because it's a symptom, then it's because it's a symptom. Like, it's not about them not trying hard enough, da 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 da. Sometimes, like, symptoms happen because that's what mental health looks like. And yeah, you basically have to do that community. You do that community work with people where, on one hand, like, you talked to the submissive side of things, you're like, hey, if you're dealing with this type of mental health stuff, this is what you need to stay on top of. You cannot expect your dom to regulate you. You cannot expect your dom to know when your symptoms are flaring up. They don't know, because they don't have access to your brain. And on the dom side of things, you have to have the conversation of, if something went sideways, you've covered your bases, it's rough and it's not fair, and this is what's going on. And also, you were not fundamentally a bad person at heart. Just ate all the cheese. No, but that means there's no cheese for me. There's no cheese for me here. No. What? Exactly. Doms are also not elder gods that could see your soul either. And it doesn't have to be Dom sub. Like this stuff, these patterns that I'm describing can happen in any type of relationship. It can happen in a friendship. It can happen in a vanilla relationship. It can happen between like coworkers. You just take like the schmex component out of it. But some of those elements of like romanticizing somebody or having an idealized version of them, and then the real them doesn't line up, and then the person with the idealized version in their heads just like blows up at them, or expecting people to monitor you, developing an FP attachment to somebody, like all of this stuff. Like this doesn't have to happen just in kink. Hi Blitz, hello. Are you gonna play some deep rock with me tonight? You can't expect anyone who's not a professional to regulate you when you have a trauma disorder. Yeah, exactly. And how's it going? It's going. We're talking about kink, mental health, and safety right now. We're going to be doing some gaming here soon, though. Elder gods. On the inside, monsters, anything can be a mimic. This is true. PC's still in the bedroom? He's in bed at like 8 p.m. It's been a long ass work day. Exactly, cheese. We need the cheese. But that was like that was a humbling conversation that I had to have with my own self, because I have that eldest daughter's complex where I expect myself to always be put together, always regulated, always on top of it. Having PTSD was that was an experience that hit right at the core of that sense of identity, because when you have PTSD symptoms, you're feeling like you've got the anxiety that impacts people around you, you've got the disassociation, you've got these symptoms that are out of your control at first. Like, you don't know what's going on with your nervous system. You don't know why your body's reacting the way it is. It feels embarrassing. You feel helpless and you feel overwhelmed. And so I actually had to develop the humility to be like, actually, I can't guarantee that I will have full control and regulation during a scene. I can't actually guarantee that something won't go sideways for me in a scene. I can't guarantee that something that I thought was hot and I was really into won't feel different when it's happening. And that's humbling, right? But you actually do have to stay in the humility of it and be like, you know what? This is where my nervous system is at. And even though I wish I could say I was operating here, I'm not. I'm operating somewhere else, and we got to do this work before we can come back here. Hi, Bane. You know, that doesn't surprise me by Yama. A lot of people are, they tend to just skip stuff because they don't want to spend the energy on it. Oh no, Blitz! But then you can't play Deep Rock. If you're seeking regulation from one person, they aren't a professional. Don't expect it to work as well. This could have gone if you'd gone to a professional. Yeah. Like the makeup? Thank you. Thank you very much. It's tragic. Yes. Yes, it is. Devastating. How dare they? I wanted to play Deep Rock. I would play Deep Rock with my friend. But that's kind of the unfortunate side of things, because like I mean, even with PTSD, you might have your moments where because your hypervigilance was so high, you handled something with intensity that was not appropriate for the situation, or your anxiety read a threat that wasn't actually there. And then people around you are trying to like tell you it isn't actually that intense, like, or you're registering something that actually is not there. So it could be like PTSD, it could be other types of disorders, but there are times where, like in the symptoms, where the intensity level is not appropriate. But trying to convey that to the person, they're just not going to hear it. How your worth is not your ability to mask. Oh my gosh, Quinn Miss, what were you masking today? What masking are we talking about? What's the sitch? That's also, like, that's very humbling as well. It very much is, because there are times where, if you're dealing with somebody who's having a very, like, black and white, intense justice response, there are times where it is actually too much, where it is actually not, like, too much intensity that is appropriate for the situation. And I think it's very frustrating for people who've had trauma-based disorders, because it feels invalidating. Your brain is registering something. You're like basically, why aren't the people around me reacting at the level I am? Why are people seeing what I see? And the person who is activated like that, like they're at that level of intensity, it's hard because, like, you want to validate them, you want to show that you care, but also they're not registering that their intensity is not appropriate for the situation. And, like, everybody else is like, oh, okay, this is important, but we're at a level 4 about it, and you're at a level 10. And it's not that we're trying to invalidate you, but your nervous system is going at it way too hard. It's exhausting. We can't bring ourselves up to a level 10. We do not have the capacity, and it would be too much for everybody to, like, be at a level 10 about this. So it's like, we need to actually come back. And it's hard because somebody who is activated at that level is going to feel so betrayed. They're going to feel isolated and all of this stuff, but their brain literally is not registering that their intensity level is not appropriate for the situation, and they're not being invalidated. People do care about them. It's just the intensity level needs to, the ego defensiveness, the intensity, the black and white justice, like, it needs to come the fuck down. Yes, Rosie does do lives. Hello. How are you? We've got Wade, and I am TRJ. Hello. Yes, we're streaming on a few different places tonight. Totally wasn't masky today. Bunch of phone calls this morning. Just got done with exercise with today. Hey! That sounds great. That's okay, Blitz. You can do the vibes. My thing with BPD and people who view the disorder on a surface level is I see BPD in two parts. You have your borderlines who internalized and your borderlines who project. Actually, yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Curiosity, Rosie, where do you draw the line on your armor? Tank-proof armor. What's yours? Probably a 7. Yes, yes, Blitz. And yeah, also the, like, shout out to, like, typically if somebody is in my community, it's because they are someone who is doing that work. Like, they're in that place of, like, I want to take care of myself. I want to learn about myself. I want to be accountable for my trauma and mental health. but also build healthy community. Like, usually if somebody is in my community, you're listening to my content, chances are, like, it's because you're in, like, a similar life path that I am, where you're continuously trying to learn about yourself, learn about how the human brain works, all this stuff. Got diagnosed with hypermobility in all my ligaments. Oh my god. Well, at least you have an answer for it now. That's definitely good. I love that for you. Decent amount of plates protecting you. Respect. Nobody's getting me out of it. No, once I got that armor on, permanent. It's never coming off. The armor stays on. Learning helps you grow, and growing is how you make chicken nugget trees grow. I mean, you know what? Yeah, that's exactly how that works. started physiotherapy because my knee has been in a lot of pain for like a month-ish. Oh man. No, I feel you. I've been struggling with chronic pain for a long time. Like that's why, like one of the reasons the reason that I had to adopt out my guinea pigs was like the chronic pain, the chronic pain in my body like hit a point of uh, it like basically wasn't going away, and I was like, well, if this isn't going anywhere, then I need to make sure the piggies are in somebody's care. Because if you don't keep up with guinea pigs, then they'll literally get like their feet will burn. The skin on the bottom of their feet will burn from like uric acid and stuff. Like you have to keep on top of things. So I was devastated, but I was like, I'm going to be responsible and make sure you're with somebody whose body can keep up with this, because like the way I have such a hard time maintaining routines, I'll be like, okay, today we're going to do this, this, and this. I'll wake up and my body hurts so bad, and I'll be like, we're going to make it through like a little bit of this list. So yes, the piggies got adopted by a lovely lesbian couple who had prior experience with guinea pigs. They had other pets, things like that. They've sent me photos and afterwards of the setup and stuff. They looked so well cared for. I don't think I could have asked for a better adoption process there. So, as sad as I am about it, I'm also like, even like this weekend, I was gonna get so much work done this weekend. Ended up just like gaming or lying in bed on a heating pad, cause ow, yeah, she's such a sweetheart. Loki was such a sweetheart, and yeah, that is the thing though. Like I think that goes like along with being responsible about trauma and mental health and chronic pain. Like, there may be a time where like even if you're really attached to a pet, if your body won't let you keep up with the pet care, you don't keep the pet. If you really want to do some kink scenes, but your nervous system still hasn't reached like a place of healing in order to do it responsibly, you don't do the scene. Not too sore. Today was a little bit better. Today was somewhat better. House of Quartz mostly populated by rainbow spicy brain critters. Oh, this is so true. Why is that so true though? Yeah. All the spicy rainbow brain critters. But like I said, these are topics that I could rant about for a very long time. Especially because there's so much gray area and there's so much nuance, especially when it comes to trauma, and you're trying to balance so many different things. You're trying to balance like not invalidating somebody, not denying them their reality, or not making them feel like a burden, but also if their symptoms literally do have them not in reality reacting too intensely, and things like that. Like you're trying to address that, make them aware of that, or protect your own mental health from that situation, and like trying to find the in-between on it can feel very just impossible sometimes. Hello, the Mr. Word. You're right, and that's good that you're self-aware of that, Angel Wolf. I don't have pets anymore. I can't give them the attention they need and deserve. So adopt friends' pets and spoil them. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If I have pets again in the future, it'll probably be like a type of pet that does not require a massive litter change once a week, because that was the hardest part. I can't really keep up with a dog, based on what I do, and like guinea pigs, you had to lift up everything. Like it was because I had 5 guinea pigs. So you have to like lift up all that litter, vacuum it out, scrub it out, and my body was struggle busting with it. So if I ever get a pet again, it'll be a type of pet my partner can help with and is not that level of intense care. Speaking of rainbows, I got glitter bombed at work today. Oh no. The herpes of craft glitter. The herpes of the craft world is what they call it, isn't it? My whole thing is internalized borderlines tend to have been raised in neglectful homes they were silenced in, were not commonly outright, not allowed to express anything without repercussion. Borderlines who project tend to stem from childhoods, were situations where the borderline had to physically fight to get things that they need. Yeah, and well, that's the thing, right? Like BPD is a trauma. It is a trauma-based disorder, and there is a lot of stigma. There's a lot of stigma around it. Bipolar as well. I don't know if PTSD. I didn't really experience PTSD stigma really in my own dating life and stuff. Probably because, at least from what I've experienced with PTSD, it shuts you down. You're sleeping a lot. Like, you can have triggers with PTSD where, like, the classic veteran reacts to fireworks going off. Like, there's the anger and things like that. PTSD for me was very quiet. It was me basically retreating and just shutting down, sleeping, that sort of thing. Whereas if you have like other types of disorders where the symptoms have you reacting really intensely, yeah. And like PTSD is a trauma-based disorder, but I've found it doesn't necessarily have the same relationship instability that BPD or bipolar does, or narcissistic personality disorder. We're seeing a lot more information about like basically cluster B in general. I think, like, from what I remember, PTSD is not cluster B. You're gonna have to check me on this. I don't remember very solidly. And yeah, because the struggle with cluster B is, like, the symptoms are somewhat self-destructive, unfortunately. Yep, so not cluster B. And I think the problem people really run into if you've got cluster B is that the symptoms often literally blow up your life. Like, it'll blow up, like, your relationships, your personal relationships, your friendships, your job. Like, it's one of the ones that's really, really hard to watch, and I can't even imagine, like, to live it for people, because you've got lots of people who end up with a cluster B disorder who don't ever get treatment or support. It's brutal. It is actually pretty fucking brutal. And so while I might express some verbal frustration, having been on the receiving end of cluster B symptoms, and, like, other people who I've helped support who've been on the receiving end of cluster B, at the same time, it's also like we recognize that it's symptoms for a reason. Just friend did something. Gave an old friend a fist bump. She nearly jumped out of her skin, started shaking. Yeah, right. You never know what is actually a trigger for somebody. It's not easy. It's not easy for people on either side of it. It's one of those things where you wouldn't wish it on anybody. You really you really wouldn't. And it's hard. Like, every once in a while I'll scroll into a video either with somebody with a cluster B disorder or somebody talking about, like, they're basically being like, yep, got my heart broken by somebody with cluster B. I'm in therapy because I dated somebody in cluster B. And then, like, you go through the comments and it's always, like, the same combination of, like, yeah, we're evil, don't talk to us, don't date us, we'll ruin your life, versus, oh, I have this disorder and this is making me feel so much worse about myself, and I guess I'm not lovable. And then other people pointing out, like, these are symptoms. Like, it's because the symptoms with cluster B can be on an intensity level that's outside of what people are used to. It seems more salient. Technically, the symptoms of any disorder are life-altering. They can be devastating. I think just, however, because the symptoms with cluster B they often run at an intensity most people are not used to. We tend to just like latch on to that one in particular. Yeah. No, PTSD is a trauma-based disorder, but not a personality disorder. Because I was like, yeah, I didn't think they put that one under cluster B. But you do technically, you have the disorders, you've got subtypes, and all of it should be handled with a qualified professional, if possible. Not even my worst enemy, no. It's not fun. it's really not fun. And the best thing you can do, like if you are in a relationship with somebody who has either like a trauma-based disorder or a mood disorder, my first piece of advice, do not promise them that you will never leave. Don't make them that promise. Because like there's so many people who like you. How did we get on this topic? We talk about mental health a lot here. And yeah, if you're wondering why we got on some heavy subject matter, this I have a degree in psychology, so we do tend to talk a lot about this stuff. It's a horrible promise, and like it's a well-intentioned promise, but realistically, you always need to be able to leave a relationship if you want to. That's relationships end all the time. That's normal. That's natural. It sucks. It can feel gut-wrenching. It's horrible. You just like at each other for a while, but like you normal healthy people do, like, you acknowledge that not everything's permanent and you're going to be okay if stuff ends. But people who have certain disorders, there's rejection sensitivity and abandonment trauma, abandonment anxiety. So to try to mitigate that, with the best of intentions, somebody will tell someone with one of these disorders, no, I won't ever leave you. I promise I'll never leave you. And then you're like, actually, I don't want to be here anymore. Like months, years down the road, you're like, actually, I need to go. And the person's like, see, I knew you'd leave. Like, don't. Just do not ever promise someone you'll never leave them. That's not the way to go. They need to be able to work through that people can and do leave, and that's okay and normal. Feeling really called out right now. Cheese, mental health, cosplay, gaming, and more cheese. Also topics of conversation. Yeah, exactly. Like, you can be like, hey, yeah, if this is working out, we could do a long-term relationship, etc., etc. But there's lots of people. Oh, sounds good, Dave Pro. If there's lots of people who ended up in a relationship with somebody with a personality disorder, like cluster B, etc., and they really love and care about the person, but like they're just being taken sideways by being on the receiving end of the symptoms, the best thing you can do is learn about it. Set boundaries for yourself where you're like, you know what, actually, I cannot be treated this way. Like, if there's certain symptoms that are hitting you that bad, you need to be aware of that. You do not need to self-martyr yourself just because you care about somebody. But the more information you have, the better about this stuff, because then at least you know where symptoms are coming from, you know the motivations for the behavior. You might have better ideas about how to respond. There are actually lots of resources out there now in regards to, like, hey, if you have someone in your life who's bipolar or they're BPD or even PTSD or something like that, if you talk to them this way, this is probably what's going to happen, versus this is what's more effective. This is what helps somebody whose anxiety is high. This is what helps somebody whose defensiveness is like really activated. Anyone who says I'll never, right? And that's the thing though. Like, it's well intentioned. It often really is very well intentioned, but I think personality disorders, dissociative disorders, or disorders that involve heavy bouts of psychosis are commonly discussed on most media platforms in a very black and white thinking way. It's borderline. I hate to describe it that way, but also it's accurate. Yes, there, because like also if you're talking about a disorder on TikTok, the most amount of time you really have to discuss something on TikTok is 10 minutes, and you might put it out in a series, and like some people see the first part of the series and other people see the rest of it. Like TikTok, social media is not really it's not for discourse, not about important subjects. And I would say, like, if you do have something diagnosed in regards to your mental health, please do not take what you see on social media to heart about yourself. Like if you scroll into a TikTok, somebody's talking about how they broke up with somebody who has the disorder you do, and they're talking about how like they went through it and they were trying so hard, and like now they're so like they feel empty, they feel run over. Don't take that to heart, okay? Because that's not you. Every situation is different. Every dynamic is different. Somebody else's terrible experience over here is not a reflection of your reality. It's not a self-fulfilling prophecy. You are an entirely different person in an entirely different set of circumstances. You might have the same disorder or mental health issue as what's being mentioned, but you're not with the same people that were in the situation described. And like that's part of setting healthy boundaries as an adult, right? Is recognizing that just because something feels similar to you, feels similar to what you're going through, it's not you. It's not the same situation. And that also comes down to regulating black and white senses of justice. You often see people have a terrible sense of boundaries where they'll see a situation being talked about that's similar to something they went through, and they just like run right into it, but it's not the same situation. There may be similarities, but something important for us to do as adults is to recognize, hey, this might feel similar. It's not the same. It's different people. It doesn't actually pertain to you. And so you need to actually pull back and reassess from there what is actually an appropriate response, because inserting yourself into somebody else's situation can have one or two problems. Number one, a self-esteem drop, or two, you run a situation over that didn't need that level of intensity applied to it from the outside. The current days of self-diagnosing makes me feel a level of rage that's unfathomable. Yeah, and like there's a time and a place where like you look at symptoms in yourself, like basically, like I suspected I had ADHD. I tracked the symptoms, put them all down, and then went into a qualified professional. They did all the screening for all the different disorders and stuff, and they're like, nope, ADHD. Even framing a statement close to forever can be problematic if they choose to hear something else. Yeah. And that's one of the things where I, because of the type of work that I do, I won't really do like play sessions, things like that, with people who have certain disorders. Like I said, I won't run scenes with people who want to use kink to heal. And I'm very like the screening level that I do now for somebody who tells me that they have a disorder is a lot higher, because I'm like, I have the information I do about this, and I know that I cannot provide the level of care that I personally would consider necessary to do this with you responsibly. Like, I cannot give you this level of reassurance. I can't give you this level of care. I can't give you like all of this stuff that typically is actually most effective for engaging with somebody in this stuff. I won't run those scenes or do play scenes or play partnerships, because I know that I can't. That's at least at this part of my life, I don't have the capacity to. And I'm like, for my own safety, for your safety, we're not going to engage with this, because I can't provide that level of care. Especially when it comes to kink and E&M, I have the capacity for people who just want to run the scene and they're good and they're done. Like they're literally just like nut and run type of situation. Like I don't need follow-up. They don't need reassurance. They don't need any of this stuff. It's literally like, okay, this is what we want to do. Right, done, we're gone. I do not have the time and energy to do that level of care for most people. Especially the weird people nowadays who think they can self-diagnose disorders that legally require someone to be 18. Yeah, like no, know what it takes. No, you can't do it. Yeah, and like that, like I have done in the past successfully, have provided that level of care. Like I make the content I do because I do have the history of providing that level of care for people. I know how to do it effectively. I do know there's always, like I said, it doesn't matter how much you do right, things that's why it's risky. Like certain types of intimacy, all physical intimacy and even relationship intimacy, it carries either physical risk or emotional risk. And kinky dynamics, they carry an elevated level of risk. And that's something where, like, basically, like, when I started, like, the type of life, the work that I do now, it means I don't have the same energy levels. I don't have the same capacity as before, so I basically have to change up how much of myself I make available, the type of play partnerships or scenes I'm willing to do. Yeah, I think especially with DID, because so much research is still being done for that one. It's really important not to go to Wikipedia or TikTok about DID, because with that one, that's still under the research is happening for that one. You shouldn't do that for any disorder, but DID is one of the ones we've clocked more recently. So that one is that one's important not to fall down a rabbit hole of misinformation about. And that one's also another one I wouldn't wish on anyone, because yeah, I wouldn't wish PTSD. I wouldn't wish any of this on anyone. We'll do a hydrate. Yeah, part of conducting yourself responsibly, if you do stuff that's on the dom side of things, is determining how much mental and physical energy you have, how much time you have. And if somebody who has a diagnosed disorder wants to do stuff with you, you have to evaluate realistically if you can step up to providing more care or not. And if you step up to do that scene where you have reduced time, reduced energy, reduced capacity, and also reduced interest, if this isn't really somebody that you want a deep relationship with, if you do decide to do that scene with somebody with a disorder with reduced capacity and reduced interest, then you are running a higher risk that something will go wrong in that scene, even if you ran it completely right. So that's the thing when you do this type of stuff, you are constantly evaluating risk and how much risk feels acceptable to you. It's part of being a grown-up, right? No, right? Who needs this? Guarantee that alone will clock it. Yeah. Ask them what the process is for diagnosis. And we're like, oh, yeah, you haven't actually been doing what you should be doing about this. So, and I don't even know how helpful it is for me to ramble about this stuff, but I do think that part of building safety, building awareness is talking about agency, talking about what you are and are not responsible for, putting out more information about symptoms for certain disorders and being like, hey, if you are on the dom side of things, especially if you're a content creator, oh my goodness, like if you're in the kink world, you're making content, you will inevitably have somebody try to latch onto you as their FP. That is almost guaranteed, because you are visible to a wide population and you're doing dom headspace. Like, it's gonna be getting right for you. So having the awareness that, like, somebody with a disorder, like people with a disorder, that's a vulnerable at-risk person. So if you as the dom have awareness that that symptom exists, you can keep an eye out for it, set boundaries around it, and redirect it. But I think like so much interpersonal distress that I've seen happen in the kink community happened because a lot of the times it could have been mitigated or prevented by people having a greater awareness of these symptoms, knowing these symptoms exist in the first place, knowing how to like assess risk according to somebody's disclosed mental health. I think we could mitigate so much damage if if kink safety talks covered more than just, oh, here's how to tie somebody safely, here's how to safely, here's how to restrain somebody. Like most kink safety stuff, it comes down to like, we'll talk about being in the right headspace and having mental like, well, we'll talk a little bit lightly about it, but most kink safety seems to be more on the side of make sure you pre-negotiate, make sure you do restraints, have a locking restraint, stuff like that. But we don't really talk about, hey, these are mental health symptoms you as a dom need to be aware of. If you have these mental health symptoms, either as a dom or a sub, this is how it might impact things. This is where it might go wrong. Like we don't really get specific about it. Make sure you hydrate. Exactly. Maybe that's where you can specialize in it. Maybe because I have yet to pick up a kink book that says, hey, if you're a dom, one of the risks you might run into is becoming somebody's FP. This is what it looks like. If you're a sub and you have bipolar, this is how a kink headspace scene might interact with your mood-based disorder, right? You don't really see a lot of information out there about like, hey, if you struggle with depression, this is how that might interact with a kink dynamic. If you have PTSD and you struggle with disassociation, this is what you need to be aware of before you go into a scene. Like we don't really get specific with that information. Would love a book like that. All right, and that's one of the things, like I would love to write a book. I'm still debating on the topic. Totally. Yeah, I think self-diagnosis is an important first step in regards to like, I think something is going on, but you need to follow it up. Would so read that book, yeah. And I do think that like I want to go on for my master's in psychology. If I did write a book about mental health, trauma, disorders, and kink safety, I would wait to do that till after I finished a master's. So I mean, like even for like what you hear me talk about in a Twitch stream, I've only got a bachelor's so far. So part of this is just a bachelor's and work experience together, which is substantial, but also like it's not the level of qualification that I would like to have. So please do take what I say with a grain of salt. Look stuff up for yourself. The textbooks and all of that, those exist out there. I think self-diagnosis in that case should be labeled as an observation. You have information to back your theory up, to seek help for, but not self-diagnosing. Yeah, actually, I have a lot of ideas about what I would like to do in regards to like kink, makeup, mental health. Like I have like those three things. With me, it's kink, mental health, and makeup. And now that I've gotten the makeup, I am now a certified makeup artist. I'm like, well, maybe we should finish the psychology side of things. Pinch of salt, glass of water, pinch of cheese. Just a pinch? Oh, thank you, Jade. Love this extra heart. Aw. You can brain burr about it on here. Yes. We'll do lots of brain go burr. And I think like before we transition into gaming, the upshot of what I'm saying here really comes down to, like, at the end of the day, you are the expert in your own experience. You are the one who has access to your brain, your body. You're the only one who knows what's going on with yourself in regards to, like, literally everything. So that's part of what it means to be responsible, is doing that self-monitoring. But also, like, even if you do come from a background where there's lots of trauma, speaking from experience, like, my brain does not feel the way it did 5 years ago. It feels profoundly different. Things do change and happen over time. If you keep investing in yourself, you keep doing that work with yourself. If you do have a diagnosed mood or personality disorder, or you love somebody in your life who has that type of disorder, on one hand, it's okay to be angry, frustrated, all of that, so valid. But on the other hand, also, these types of disorders are not a life sentence to misery. They do not make you an inherently bad person. You could have, like, if you have a disorder where some symptoms went off and some, like, the result of the symptoms being expressed was kind of, like, devastating, that still does not mean that you are doomed to a life of failure and relationship implosion. You're not doomed to be unlovable, and you are not doomed to helplessness and lack of agency. These disorders do have a great prognosis for recovery when there is, like, support and affirmation and all of this good stuff. And especially, most importantly, the prognosis is there when you yourself act in your own agency to take care of yourself, like, because you want that. Oh, hello, Captain. We'll give you a boop. Thank you very much for the follow. And She Hath No Name is here. Welcome back. Your observation is a beginner base to look into. Yeah. Do peer counseling with others in my local scene. Have been trying to do more of that. Yeah, I'd love to see it. I think that the more we talk about this stuff, and the more we see it, it's being put out there. I think the gap that I've seen in the 5 years that I've been doing more, like, dom-based stuff is specifically for trauma-based disorders and mood disorders. Because when we talk about kink, we often focus so much on its capacity for healing. We talk a lot about the positive sides of it, and, like, how, like, it helped us heal from purity culture. It helped us gain a sense of agency, better boundaries. But there are many times where a kink scene or kink dynamic went absolutely sideways. It blew up in somebody's face. It went wrong even when everything was done right. And a lot of people don't know what to do with that. Like, what happens when you go into these dynamics, or even E&M, poly stuff? There's lots of people who, like myself included, who walked into it with, like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so cool. There's gonna be so much healthy communication and respecting each other's boundaries, and we're gonna have this amazing experience together, only to be taken so sideways by somebody else's symptoms that you're now in therapy. That was something I wasn't expecting. I was not expecting to end up in therapy on the basis of symptoms being shown by, like, my partner's other play partner. That was new. But yeah, we don't necessarily have that awareness of, like, there are some things you can't talk through. There's certain symptoms that no amount of healthy boundaries or communication is going to change. As much as we might have this idea that healthy communication, boundaries, knowledge, no, if somebody is going through it over here, it can still take everything sideways. Noticed my childhood through mid-teen years that if they continued to full adulthood, I may have qualified for a diagnosis of antisocial personality disorder. Part of the reason I don't really think and act that way anymore, sometimes it's still my first instinct, is because I was so committed to not being like the person who hurt me. And you know what? Like, that's... I'm glad it didn't go that direction for you, because yeah, people with antisocial personality disorder, like uh the struggle bus when it comes to interpersonal connection is so real. Aw, thank you. Dementia? I hope I said that right. All borderlines gave that if any borderline says otherwise, there is we all think that change is terrifying. Change without explanation, especially, it's incredibly triggering to borderlines. See change, have no explanation. Change make brain shut down and wig the fuck out. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the comorbid things with autism. For some people with autism too, from what I remember from training and talking to people who have been diagnosed with autism. Like, it's that change of plans can be very overwhelming. Abandonment fear borderlines carry stems from fear of change, right? And I think that we would actually see a lot of positive change. I think like a lot of the interpersonal strife and distress and things like that we see within both kink and E&M poly worlds would be much improved if more people had a greater awareness of these symptoms, and like we had less of an unrealistic idea of basically like, oh yeah, I read the E&M books, I read the poly books, I'm good, I got this, we're gonna be so well integrated, and we're gonna handle jealousy in such a healthy way, and blah blah blah. And then what ends up actually happening is nobody sticks to that script, and a bunch of people get absolutely heartbroken, some people get run over, some people end up in therapy, like with all of this stuff, relationships or kink or whatnot, like, you could have the best of intention. Reading only helps if you actually practice, but reading doesn't help at all if I could tell you guys some of the unhinged stuff that I was on the receiving end of. Like, I put in so much work. Time, effort, physical intimacy, like, to make people feel comfortable, help them mitigate their anxiety, help them mitigate jealousy, stuff like the amount of work I put in, that all these books are like, yeah, this is what you're supposed to do, only to be treated like absolute shit. And oh my god, like there are times where, like, it doesn't matter what you read, it doesn't matter how healthy you communicate, it doesn't matter how good your intentions are, something can still run you over. Another person can still run you over. And that's when you also need to have, like, I found for myself, at least, like, I am so much safer and I'm so much more regulated when I have a realistic view of non-monogamy and kink, where I'm like, you know what? Sometimes healthy communication doesn't work. Sometimes the boundary setting doesn't work. Sometimes you can do everything right and still have everything blow up. Like, all of the, like, it's important to be realistic and remember that when you go into this stuff, regardless of intent, things can still yeet. Change without explanation, not normal connection in our brain. They say abandonment is interpreted to borderline as your average person struggles with a sudden death. It's true. Change without explanation will make borderline go into some stages of intense grief. Yeah, I think it was change, and then also, like, you really care about somebody, and then there's something in their behavior that your brain interprets as rejection, interprets as them intentionally harming you, and then your brain goes into defense mode. Which makes sense. I honestly think that makes a lot of sense for, like, if you came from an environment where you got harmed by people who are supposed to take care of you, then your brain would have a hard time distinguishing the reality of other people. And you definitely see that in kink too. Like, one of the hard things is, like, or E&M, right? You've got somebody, I've seen borderlines in E&M be triggered by not being talked to by a partner for a certain amount of time. I've seen it in kink scenes, based on like the type of scene, the sensory play, the words being used. Like somebody with BPD heard like or felt something in the scene where their brain was like, "Oh no, we're actually not safe," and then like took off, and we're all like, "What the fuck?" Something as so yeah, it can be something so simple as a 2-second shift in tone. And so that's where it becomes really hard, where you're like, I don't want to invalidate you. I don't want you to deny, I don't want to deny your reality, but also you're not in reality. Someone is hyper-avoidant, triggers my RSD and abandonment issues. That's my shit to handle most of the time. Lean on my pack to help me through. Right, that's, I think all of us have our... we have our own stuff. Like my Achilles heel was definitely fawning. Like I would get treated a certain way, and my belief was that as long as I kept doing the right thing, I kept trying to fix it, I kept trying to patch it, then it would work. I had this belief that as long as you kept hammering at it, it would eventually fix it. Oh, I was incorrect. And so there are a few times where I experienced something I should have walked away from at the first the first time being treated a certain way or being spoken to a certain way, and then my brain was like, "Oh, that sucked. Let's fix it." Yeah, the fawning. You can reach the point where it's not fixable, yeah. And no, unfortunately, some of what I've experienced in kink and E&M was stuff that like you read about or you see people do in TV shows, and you would never expect to experience it in real life. And then you do, and you're like, oh wow, people actually do act this way. There's no fixing this. I need to go. Just not doing it right. Can't be from them. Simple thing could lead to your world falling apart, right? And like I can relate to that adjacently with PTSD, because one of my most intense symptoms from PTSD was hypervigilance. And it does make you feel like you're losing your mind, because your brain will constantly be registering things that could be threats. You're registering potential threats way ahead of time. And nobody else around you is taking it as seriously as you are, right? And that's the hard part about it. Like, it makes you feel like you're going crazy, and you want to get like... And you might actually get angry at people around you, and you'd be like, this matters. Don't you see what I see? Look at this thing that's coming. Look at this possible threat. Why aren't you worried? Why aren't you bothered? Because you have experienced the world falling apart. You have experienced people going like this. You've experienced the worst of the worst happening to you out of nowhere. And because you have experienced things that no one would have ever seen coming, you're trying to see everything coming from then on out. You're like, never again, because when the worst of the worst happens to you, and it's a surprise, then you're just like, I can't handle that. I can't handle something this awful happening to me again with no warning, with no preparedness. So you try to be prepared for everything all of the time. Which means you're on high alert. Your nervous system is activated 24/7. You're monitoring the people around you. You're monitoring the news. You're monitoring everything. And your body starts to hurt. It impacts your memory. People around you start getting frustrated because you won't calm the fuck down. So you're exhausting to be around. And because, like, initially, like, in my experience, initially what happens when you're constantly hypervigilant is that people who care about you will show a level of concern that matches it for a while, until it becomes apparent that you're not stopping. and you're going to keep finding threats, and you're going to keep being activated, and there's always going to be something else that might be a threat. And so as they start realizing this is going to keep going, they don't have the energy to keep meeting you at that level, they start pulling back, and you start getting upset, and then you start feeling defensive, and then you're like, oh, maybe I'm wrong, which makes you feel grief and like lack of self-worth and all of this stuff. It becomes like this absolute fucking spiral that really sucks, which, once again, why I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And I think when it comes to like on the PTSD side of it, looking at BPD, because yeah, unfortunately you're not actually in reality all of the time. Like sometimes you aren't reading things correctly. Sometimes you do actually get it so very fucking wrong because your brain was on this high level of alert and read things into stuff that wasn't actually there, and then you have to be like, fuck, I actually was completely out to lunch on that. And that sucks. It's embarrassing. And either you are able to recognize that and accept it and sit with the embarrassment of it, or you get ego defensive and you keep pushing and keep going, and at some point it isolates you. Oh yes, please, go walk your doggos. My trauma response cycled through all of them slowly over the course of several years of childhood. In order, it went fawn, freeze, flee, and then it went to fight. Thankfully, after I was out, because my fight response would have caused so many problems if it had happened in that situation. Right? Hello, Shadler. Hi. When you start lashing out from being so hypervigilant, it's actually oddly similar to those who lash out from experiencing exhaustion from people who are sleep deprived or overexerting yourself, that you drive your body to exhaustion. Yes, because it's exhausting. It's exhausting for everybody around you, and it's exhausting for you. Glad we're talking about these things. It does a good, right? And it's unfortunate because like there's already there's so much stigma around these disorders where they'll be like, oh, they're crazy, my ex was crazy, blah blah blah. And so that's another thing you have to balance. You really do. Like, you have to balance the whole like, oh, this person has symptoms of hypervigilance, possibly paranoia. Maybe they, like with BPD, you have that whole like switch to black and white, villainizing somebody. It is not in reality. You're reading too much intensity into something. You've got too much black and white sense of justice about something. Something's not actually a threat. Somebody's not actually a villain. Like, because of these symptoms, you're not perceiving reality correctly. But on the other hand, we do not want to reinforce, oh, they're crazy, they don't know what they're talking about, blah blah blah. Like, it's kind of heartbreaking in that way, right? Where you're just like, what do you what do you do? Hi, Caspian. Can see everything, why can't they see what I see? The answer is they've been in the scene for 8 months, don't have my level of experience, but also are in frenzy, hyper independent, highly avoidant. And that can also be another thing. Like, sometimes because of your hypervigilance, you do pick up on stuff other people don't. And that's what makes it even harder to let go of hypervigilance, is because every once in a while the hypervigilance is correct. Aw, thank you, Caspian. Pandora System, hi. Oh, like Ren? Hi, Ren. Came in during an interesting convo once again. Yeah. And no, the hard thing for me has been, there's been times over the past few years, my nervous system got activated. I registered something way more intensely than it needed to be. And now I have to be like, no, I'm not crazy. Did I read that correctly? No. And two things could be true. Like, you don't actually have to be completely out to lunch, but you can also acknowledge, like, no, something you were dead ass certain was incoming was not. Know the exact diagnosis. Really easy to assume a wrong one. My main trauma responses bounce between fawn or flight, which is a massive difference that is shocking those who know me personally. Such as loud noises make me fawn, while sudden physical touch causes me to go into fight mode. So a little bit of a whiplash. Only paranoia if the whole world isn't actually allowed to get you. And I think that's why, like, it is really important. It's really important to go easy on yourself with this stuff. Like, you keep learning about it, you keep picking up as much information as you can. And I would say, like, that this is not personal advice. I would just say, like, in my own experience healing from trauma, like, you do actually have to be willing to look at and accept when you read something incorrectly, you were too intense. With anxiety especially, letting go of anxiety and being like, yo, this isn't actually helpful to be at this level of intensity, because at first it feels self-invalidating. At first it feels like a betrayal of self, because you're like, what do you mean this is too intense? What do you mean? What do you mean I'm reading this wrong? What do you mean this level of intensity isn't appropriate for what I'm seeing? It feels like self-abandonment at first with that one, until time passes and you realize, oh, actually that level of intensity wasn't appropriate for real. Oh man. Yeah, triggers can definitely just take you completely by surprise like that. Call it a night. Okay, good night, Mythos Fox. I've spent years in therapy, basically completely cutting the wires, starting from the very beginning, retraining brain from scratch. Yeah, sometimes we have to do that. And like CBT, like already is humbling, because now that I have to walk through the exercise of what was the trigger? Am I catastrophizing? Yes. Like, and then you have to follow up with, how can I think about this situation differently? And you're like, well, I guess I could look at it this way, I suppose. Yes, CB2 USA. But oh my gosh, we've gone almost, usually these like discussions are like only the first hour. We've gone, what is it, almost 2 hours. That's danger. The key to being able to assess things I'm seeing, how I feel about them. Yeah, at least you have more tools for it now. Exactly. That can mean two very distinct things. Yeah, we already discussed this earlier in that regard. But I don't know, honestly, I wish all of us the very best in our own individual processes as we figure this stuff out. To hydrate, posture check. Yeah. Go through, especially when you generally go through the program. Lots of homework, weekly individual therapy, group therapy at least once or twice a week. Yeah, very intensive. And that's what I've heard. Like, if you've got BPD and you're doing DBT, you get put through like a group thing. So far for my own experience with DBT has only been individual. But it is definitely the anxiety side of things has been like the big one, the big one for me to tackle, and it sucks. All right, there's a posture check. Yeah, why group? Like, why is it with BPD you guys get sent to a group? That's the spice. That is the spice of life. Yeah. And I mean, like, there are so many others. Like, I think BPD becomes the one that is really in the public eye, but I think antisocial really should be looked at a lot more, especially with like the size of the incel community that we have right now. And then of course, like, a lot of people talk about narcissism, like, but from what I know of it, and like seeing diagnosed narcissists talk about their disorder, it's not even that there's so much about that one that gets missed. Would love to see more. Politicians should be screamed. That was actually okay. So we're gonna fire up Deep Rock. For those of you in chat, Quimus, I don't know if you're still hanging around, who have Deep Rock, you can join me. I'll put the volume back up on that. Come back here. Turn off pretzel rocks. Have fun. Right? Like, Blitz, why aren't you here? Okay, and I need to plug in the controller. Yeah, let's pull this back over. Another time. No! Okay, making sure I can see my chats around the game. Oh, hi, Jer with Flair. Hello. Okay, good night, Sky. Get some sleep. Top of the hour, though. Join for how long you can. Sounds good. Yeah, happy. So that was something that I've actually talked with my
vandalizing or destruction of company property will be deducted from your pay at the end of the month.
Okay, is that better? Oh, it's probably because like I plugged the controller and sometimes it knocks the mic out. Is it back? Yes. Okay. Yay! Excellent. Getting nerve, right? Okay. So, because I was talking with my partner about this and I was kind of expressing some frustration because like what we're seeing in the States and the people who are running things, I'm like, I feel like a basic psychological screening could have caught these people and prevented them from having power in the first place.
Leave no dwarf behind. That's it, lads. Rock and stone.
Okay, so apparently I only have one more on this. So we'll get that out of the way. Oh shit! That wasn't what I meant to hit. I'm sorry. Oops. I was trying to exit out of that random screen they give. Alright, just a second. More common than people seem to think. Your best friend could have undiagnosed NPD for all you know. Well, and that's that. Yeah, that was one of the things that I found interesting about NPD and what's coming out about it is that there are plenty of people with it that you would just never know. And there are a lot of the times where people say like, oh yeah, they were a narcissist, and actually no, more often than not, they were just a dick. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry.
Mission locked in. Powering up the drop pod.
Yeah, exactly. He's not a narcissist. He's just a jerk. Immediately, I'm sorry, Quimus. I accidentally shut down the game. Wait, was this a Morkite mission? I forget. Having a great time weathering a month-long trauma anniversary right now. Should be over around the middle of next month. Oh my gosh, you're really going through it. Without recharge time either. Oh, that sucks. What were we supposed to do in this one? Morkite seeds, but not more kites. Because, like, yeah, on one hand, I get the value system of, like, in a democracy, any adult could become president or prime minister. But that becomes the problem, is that anybody could become president or prime minister. That means anybody. Like, we don't have any protections for when people vote for something that is very clearly fucking stupid. And I think, like, that's the terrifying part of democracy, is just like, what do you do when a chunk of the population voluntarily votes for this stupid option? What is a Morkite seed? You will see. Queen has died. Oh no. How did you manage that?
I slipped!
Also, oh, happy birthday, belated. Promise you all that anyone can be president is not as true as people think it is. Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, because to some degree, some people, like, if you've got people out here voting for someone who thinks vaccines are dumb, what are we all supposed to do? Because now,
Rock and stone!
everybody is going to be put more at risk by basic health and safety stuff being negated. Or like, we intentionally voted for this. Okay.
Come on, guys! Let's hit
leaving. The first option except for all the others. Alright, so I'm like, what if we hypothetically made, like, a compromise where you had to go through a screening panel of psychologists to make sure you're not out to lunch and your policies are not fundamentally stupid and won't trample people's basic rights. Like, you just, like, you put people in front of a panel and they're like, what are your opinions on abortion? And if you've got somebody who's like, who's pro-life and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna ban abortion, they're like, yeah, you can't run for president. This is like, I really wish we could just set some stuff that is not up for debates. And be like, yeah, if you're going to try to get rid of this, you're ineligible. Your belief system, the way you view people, the way you treat people, disqualifies you from being a leader. I also can't believe that politicians and judges and cops and all this, like, you got all these people running around doing shit without any real grasp of how the human brain works. They don't really know sociology, psychology, biology. Like, they got like a high school grip on it and that's it. And you're like, maybe you shouldn't be making decisions about this
Light
stuff.
is up. That wall.
Right at, yeah. My fantasy book says abortion's not right.
Die like your mother dead.
And be like, do you believe that everyone, like, do you believe the Bible should be in schools? Okay, you're disqualified from being a leader because you can't respect people's boundaries.
Zip.
Oh no, this is a deep scan one. Some of my least favorite.
Right now.
You're all good. I was crying for that. Oh, the Bubba thing? I'm dead. Whose horse is that? And also the ShamWow guy is running for office. And I'm like, not the ShamWow guy. I'm like, the fact that we don't have any kind of screening process at all for positions of important power over people's lives, just, it gives me anxiety. Oh dear God.
Inventory down it goes.
Along with religious texts. Yeah, if you're taking like I think the Bible can be in school if you were taking a class on like studying religions throughout history, but not
Need
like
some free space.
you're learning the Bible because this is real. I think there's a deep scan thing around here somewhere.
Molly!
Through your streams, do you think your aura is powerful enough to cure them and make them sane again? Probably not.
Stand your ground. Down the hatch.
Because usually what happens, like for myself, I grew up in a very conservative Christian environment / culture, and I deconstructed from it because everything that I was being promised didn't happen. Like, I was being told, like, if you believe this, if you live this way, this is
Like
what you'll
feeding
get
a
out of it,
bottomless
and I'm
pit.
like, actually, I kind of want to die, and this whole, like, trying to have a relationship with an invisible deity who never actually directly communicates with you isn't doing anything for me. That's why, like, when I was, doing like a couple episodes for that Never Blessed thing, I called it Never Blessed because that was the experience. It was deconstructing because the blessings never happened. Quite frankly, the opposite. And you'll notice that with the whole, you'll have people who are MAGA, like very, very intensely MAGA, deconstructing from the MAGA thing after it impacts them, and people are like, why did you have to wait for it to impact you? And I'm like, because that's how brains work. If you're indoctrinated into something, you don't deconstruct from it until the promises of it fail you. You don't actually leave something like strict conservatism because you see it impacting others necessarily, unless you are deeply connected to that person and them being impacted impacts you, right? Like we don't deconstruct from stuff necessarily because we read about it or we're argued about it. We change perspectives when the blessing we were promised and indoctrinated into doesn't happen.
Looted.
So when people are like, oh, you didn't leave MAGA till it impacted you, I'm like, I know it's shitty, but that is how brains work. That is typically how a human brain that's been indoctrinated works, is that it slaps you upside the head. Which is why, like, you don't see me yelling, like, if somebody is like, oh, I'm no longer this, that, and the other after it impacted me, I don't yell at them and go like, oh, it impacts you now you care. Like, I don't do that to people because I know that's actually how it works.
Die, you double-jointed freaks! Die!
Like, especially with, like, when I was still Adventist, people arguing against Adventism and how, like, conservative values negatively impact others. That didn't do anything to change my mind about being Adventist, because the indoctrination that I was given had built-in stuff to inoculate you against those arguments. Which is why it does actually have to impact you personally to some degree in order for you to get it and change your mind and deconstruct. And I think a lot of people forget that, or they're just like, oh, it impacts you, now you care. Like, they kind of forget the part where the indoctrination inoculates you against other arguments and other perspectives. It does actually need to impact you to some degree, often in order for something to click, because that's what really shakes the reality at its core. Because they can't stand the idea Trump did something gay. You know what? And maybe, because that would be another example of never blessed, right? Is that people who claim to espouse one value don't actually live it. We're seeing that one thing go viral where you've got the red pill guy talking about traditional values, and the girl he's interviewing goes, "Doesn't your current wife have like 3 baby daddies?" And he just melts down.
Let there be light.
But yeah, I think, and deconstructing can also happen, like when you see like hypocrisy from certain leaders. I think even like when this was something I had to put a lot of thought into when I became a content creator, is that I kind of got pushed, to some degree, like got pushed into content creation. Like I never expected to be here where I am today, to have the visibility that I've had. It scares the shit out of me. Quite as much as I enjoy it, it's terrifying. But I was in a position where I needed to. I actually had to suck it up, put myself out there in order to survive and like adapt to the situation I was in. And like I was thinking about it because I'm like, oh, I'm going to be visible in a way that like all of the pastors in my family combined have never been visible.
Load up your guns and sharpen your pickaxes. We got an incoming swarm.
So I was like, it can be so easy to become a cult of personality if you're a content creator. Especially if you're desperate for money, or like it feeds your ego and whatnot. Like I can definitely attest, like the capacity is there. And so that's why like I often try to pop that bubble for myself, and like I'll tell you guys, like what the stuff I talk about in my content, they are tools. Oh, good job doing this. They're tools, they're not tenets. I am a silly little guy on the internet who has opinions and perspectives on things. But at the end of the day, I never want somebody to look to me as a source, per se, of like regulation or like advice as to how to live your life. Like I would rather you like, if like for the affirmation content, right? Like that's a tool, you can take it or leave it. But like I won't ever tell you like, oh, my affirmation content will fix you. You need to interact with my content or else bad things will happen. Like you don't want to do that. Figure out where Quindus went. Maybe down here. No. No, Carl.
Next one, let's go.
Because like there 100% is going to be times where I deviate from my own advice. I have a message from the universe, right? Like I will never tell you that like the universe needs you to know. Do this or else, blah, blah, blah. Like, don't want us to carve effigies of you made of rose quartz and pray to them. Oh, please no. God, that would be that's funny, but God, in reality, that'd be creepy. Now to call my existing experience practice for the real thing. Go to save zone. I'm showing. Oh, here we go. Nice. So we do a little bit of exploring. Oh, hi, buddy.
Lighting up!
Oh, they're so cute. think you went this way. It's gonna be helpful. I should probably go the right way. For the brain go burr. Alright, and that's like as passionate as I am about mental health, kink safety, all of this stuff,
One scanner more,
I could be completely behind on something that research will show to be, like, I could be like, yeah guys, I love this tool, blah blah blah, and then research proves me completely wrong about it down the road. I can talk all about communication, relationships, blah blah blah, and completely fuck up in my own.
Lights up!
That's why I'm like, I don't ever want to be considered by my audience in like the same way a pastor is, or a life coach, where like, if something human happens, right? I think especially when I, like, PTSD was a lot more active for me. If I had like symptoms causing me to act intensely or in a way that wasn't really appropriate or whatnot, then I could be very much at risk of people being like, well, you say this, what's up with this, and whatnot. And it's like, listen, like that's once again goes back to like, you can know all the right things and still have stuff go wrong. You might not remember it in the moment. You might be reacting like we're human. Like, part of tackling purity culture is remembering that you're still going to have moments where you thoroughly embarrass yourself. You're gonna have moments where you act defensively and it's not the healthy reaction. You're going to insert yourself where you shouldn't. You're going to do things out of ego. And expecting that knowledge and regulation work will prevent you from doing that. It's just another version of, if I work hard enough, I can be safe enough, I can be pure enough, right? And that's that's not the goal, because that's not realistic. And if we put that kind of pressure on ourselves, like it just becomes the new version of evangelical. You need to be good for God, but now it's you need to be good for psychology, you need to be good for therapy, and you did all this work, get it together. Voice kinda questionable, just like my pussy. Here's Kevin eating cheese in Denny's, thank you. Not to be up to date on something I don't work on all the time. Not gonna do it, also coffee. My God, what makes you move so fast? I just hear an explosion. I just saved your life. Hey, get this off. There's a hole in the floor.
Back to hell!
So yeah, that's just like, there's definitely gonna be times where you guys will see me do or say something where you're like, what the heck? And I'm like, yeah, because the point is not to be a perfectly regulated, educated person who always sticks to their principles and always gets it right and never blows up and never gets defensive. I'd always wanted to be like, hey, if you hear me talk about something,
Flares
yeah,
up!
tools. It's a ways away somewhere. Okay, I follows. Ah! Wrong gun.
That wall!
Oh, we're going up this way?
Lighting!
Cool. Whee! That sounds delicious. Hopefully not at almost 10 p.m. though. Usually you're the one yelling at me about coffee. Sleep is perfect. Aw. Like, never messes up. Not once, not ever. And no, that's like one of the reasons I'm very intentionally working on hypervigilance and anxiety and therapy is so that like when you tackle that, you also tackle being, like a tendency to be overly defensive or intense. Because like when you're in that hypervigilant state, you can also register like other people talking to you about like your behavior as a threat.
Platform.
Or like I said, you're just being way too intense about stuff, reacting to stuff at like a level where everyone's like, oh dear God, we don't have energy for this. And I think that's one of the hardest things to learn too, is that when people are not reacting to things at the same intensity level you are,
Get ready,
and you
team.
feel like
Hold
invalidated,
of swoomers heading your way. Get your stomping boots on.
at some point you do come, you find out that like, yeah, they registered something as well. I think that like people who feel like they're empaths or they have higher pattern recognition, something
Swarmers engaging. Squish
something
those little
humbling
buggers.
is to find out, no, actually everybody has a prefrontal cortex. They registered the same information you did, they're just not reacting to it the way that you are. And so there's a lot of people who think that they have like these really excellent advanced pattern recognitions, but the reality is usually everybody else clocked the same information and just doesn't actually feel the need to react as intensely about it.
Armed and ready. It's past your expiration date.
And I find I find people with that type of reaction where they're just like, yeah, I have advanced pattern recognition, I pick up on things other people don't. They have
Wave
such
is
a
almost over.
hard time
Wipe
when
out
you
what's
don't
left.
appreciate it. And you don't see their usefulness. And they're completely missing that, like, it's not necessary. The only pattern I see is me missing social cues. Yeah, some don't use it. No one can fix it for me other than me. Right? We can definitely show up when we support each other, and that's important to some degree. Like, it is really difficult for healing to happen in a vacuum. Like to some degree, like the whole like you need to fix yourself, you need to save yourself. Part of that is establishing healthy, supportive community where you get consistent positive regard and support within people's capacity. Wait, why did you dig all the way out here? Hello? Oh wait, no, you're still on this side. Yeah. Oh, good recognition. Wait, where'd you go? You up here?
Flares up. It's the resonance crystal.
Oh.
I uncovered a resonance crystal.
Okay, there you
Find
are.
Resonance scanner ASAP.
Yeah, little posture check. What game are we playing? We're playing some Deep Rock Galactic.
Get this home safely, will you, Molly? Go Crusher! These bugs don't stand a chance against
Clear.
us. All hooked up. Time to prep the scan hit. Lighting up!
So we'll see any bugs.
We have full
Hey.
triangulation. Well done, Minus.
I
The
have not
Trinite is
seen
on the way.
any
Mount it and
fossils.
get those seeds.
This is wild. How do you get consistent positive regard? My experience relation
All
with other
scans
people is
complete.
decidedly
Trinite en
inconsistent.
route.
So like, And by like consistent positive regard, that doesn't necessarily mean like all day, every day. It just means like you know that you can rely on somebody
A drill and an elevator, all in one.
to treat
The long
you
way
with
down,
positive
the locals
regard.
won't appreciate the noise.
Like even
Get
if
on it
you've
and hit the
fucked
switch
up in
once you're
some
ready.
way,
We have seeds to
like
collect.
you know that they're giving you, like they're interacting in good
We're ordered
faith.
to resupply.
Stand
Right.
back, supply pod inbound.
I try to do it all on my own, never ask for help. Found that those times lesson is actually leading to the sport that I've come to cherish. Good, and I love that for you.
Resupply arrived. Go restock.
And I love like seeing like your
Grabbing ammo.
updates as you've been following through on that progress.
Yeah, I'm taking some of the ammo. That hit the spot. One sentry gun ready to be
Buying a
built.
new gaming PC today. Ooh, very nice.
It's armed and ready. Where is that damn tin can? Get on board! I'm starting the drill elevator.
Let's turn this thing
Elevator
on.
is waiting, team. We need
So I
every
finished
wolf on
this
board.
mission.
Fuck
Get
off!
these deep scan ones done.
I foresee a lot of shooting in your future.
Elevator activated.
I think
Gunners
like
are ready. You will have company soon.
so the thing is consistent positive regard is something that I think like we collectively as a species are becoming aware of and learning
Lloyd is up. Jamaica crate.
because it does require the building of skill sets.
Maintaining the claw tracks.
One moment. The drill has encountered compacted shale. We should be moving again shortly.
Doing good. Doing great.
I call for the muse.
Hi. Oh, hello, Guild Master. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome.
Compacted granite. The drill elevator needs a moment to crack
A
through.
little bit of this, a little bit of that.
We are free from the oppressive pesticide coming up. Damn! Those claw tracks need a lot of maintaining.
So yeah, when we talk about this,
I got the pluses.
there's also the component of like we know that humans do best in environments of consistent positive regard.
Claw tracks
But to
maintained.
some degree, we do actually need to learn it. And I think part of that is actually talking about it with friends and family, intentionally working on it together, learning more about it, learning how to do it. Because chances are, like, most of us are not in a place where, like, consistent positive regard is ideally happening. It's kind of like an environment that you have to work intentionally to build. Just don't like it. Oh, I've definitely been that person. Meaning it, but appreciating it. Well, and the thing is, like, when we say, like, live without needing it, that's where we run into issues with, like, loneliness and lack of positive regard does cause some issues in humans over time, which is why it's important to address it.
A bit of spit and polish, and it's good as new.
Like, there's a reason why I say, like, attention and affirmation are basic human needs, because apparently human
Moments to go. You are at the geode. Hang in there, miners.
apparently human care isn't just water and food and stuff like that. Apparently, like, the brain itself has emotional, interconnected needs.
Let's have a look-see, shall we?
Aha, here's some more kite seeds.
Let there be light. Go, go, go! Grab the Morkite seats before we get overrun.
Okay, let's two down. Like, there are lots of people who do adapt fairly well. It's not ideal. Good night, she hath no name.
See you, suckers.
Okay, this one.
Wally is on the way.
Gib, gib, gib. Just be one with a bog.
Scan
Gotta have
the
bog friends.
Hawkeye seeds.
That's smart.
You may hit the button and extract when ready.
I don't know about you. I didn't really see a lot of fossils as I was running around.
Rock
Chat
and
was
stone to the
distracting me.
bone.
I blame you guys for that.
Good job, team. Extraction jet boots on the drill-elevator unlocked. Grab a pair and get to the drop pod.
This one's the bonus. Okay.
Mark II
Ugh.
jet boots. This
This
is our
part's
way out
always
of the deal.
anxiety-inducing.
Lloyd.
Drop pod has arrived. Retrieving the mule. Drop pod departing in T-minus 5 minutes.
That's me.
Where's the drop pod actually gonna be? Okay, I think up here? Please, please,
Let's
be a
walk the pod base for the
ledge.
first round.
Please be a ledge. Ah! Ah! Jesus Christ! Ah! Hi. we're trying to extract.
Trying to exfil?
You just, yeah.
Hi, chat.
Huh.
How you guys doing? Have you gotten her killed? I hope so.
Not yet.
Drop pod departing in
Chat, you didn't get her
T-minus 4
killed yet?
minutes.
I'm disappointed in you.
No, they did distract me from finding fossils though. Ooh.
Attention.
And you're on, sailors.
See here.
Ah, gotcha.
This is the best.
Fair enough.
Fall back to the drop.
Okay. Whew, kaboom.
Platforms place.
Whoop. Wait. This thing. Talk about me. Now who's dysregulated? It's me. Ah.
I fell.
It's a drop pod. Whoa. What? Why does it look like this? Whoa. I think that thing just exploded in my face. Yeah, Blitz is typically like, I'm keeping you alive.
Drop pod departing in T-minus 3 minutes.
Whoa. That's like 4 out of 10. Embarrassing.
The mule has docked. Initiating launch sequence.
I'm ready.
Whoa.
I'm first. The die has been
Good
cast.
question in that regard. Possibly it is my birthday
Pulling
week
it back in.
and if there's some rice. Ooh, that's amazing. How was supper?
Great.
Yeah? What'd you guys have?
Coq au vin.
Ooh.
You know
Sounds so
that really
good.
nice, a really nice French stew I made for you?
Yeah?
You get that.
Ugh.
Not a big dessert.
Oh my god. Sexy. The way his family cooks. Oh my god.
They go hard.
I got
You look pretty.
Yeah.
Yes. Very submissive and breathable.
Yes, that was exactly what I was going for. Then maybe.
Assignment completed.
Okay. That is finally done. That sounds like a great birthday. There's weekly priority assignments. There. Should actually be more people out there working on that. Okay, Quimus, what are you working on? Because we did mine. We could also do yours. Yeah, you help me with mine. We could do yours. Oh, you gotta head out now?
Ultimate
Okay, never
insertion
mind.
Sequence initiated. Board the drop pod.
Okay. In that case, we'll go to here. Public. Submersible and
Mission
breadsticks.
locked in. Powering up the drop pod.
Yeah. Why is it Morkite again? God fucking damn it.
Let's go. Lights up!
Alright, team, you're going after eggs this time. Alien eggs. Can't miss them. They're big and they glow. Get the eggs, stow them in Molly, and get back alive.
How do I tell Bosco to do the thing?
Bosco! Light!
That's okay. At least all the fossils are like right here this time. Aw. Apparently we're super cute. Apparently we're super cute.
No more room. Time for deposit. Just take your sweet time, old lady. I've got all day. Give me some light.
Oh, apparently Bosco's not grabbing his phone. Bosco, you bastard.
When I'm done working for DRG, I'm starting my own bloody mine. Can't share anymore.
Alright, let's grab all this stuff. What the heck? Gold is there?
Time to pay Molly a visit.
Well, we're definitely
That guy's
making
mission
it
control.
today.
He really has a cozy job.
Let's collect alien exhibition.
Light! Mine it.
All good, all set.
See you, suckers.
Ooh, 2 for 1. Nice. Don't think Bosco can pick up items like fossils. He can mine out entire veins of ore. Okay. Yeah, I feared as much. Good job, Bosco. Oh, here's something. Oh, Midas Sparagon. Thank you, thank you.
Lighting up!
For those of you who weren't here earlier in the stream, if you like the makeup and want to learn how to do it, I am posting some tutorials now for, apparently you can do subscriptions on TikTok, and I was like, oh, well here's a way for me to do tutorials and get compensated for my time and energy when I make them. So, those are available there if you want to learn how to do this look.
Help me mine this. Light is up.
I'm just gonna make sure we actually get the fossils. Yeah, exactly. Putting the makeup degree to work. Gotta actually make some use out of it. Well, the thing with TikTok is it is constantly yelling at you to pay to promote, like pay to promote, pay to promote. I'm like, how are you guys paying me? They wouldn't have a platform without people putting content on it. Okay, Pastel, are you done?
Molly, come here. Let there be light.
I think the first room is clear. Aw, I think you might have Sparagon. Yeah, thanks for playing, Quimus. We'll see you later. Alright, we've already got 5 of the 10 fossils this time. Big change from before. We do still need... Oh boy. Well, there's one right there. Wow. Just had the urge to like do that off my face. Another one. And another. DJ,
Time to deposit!
Ah,
I need a damn minecart on legs. Where is it?
fine. You do.
Bosco, mine it!
Come here, Molly. Come here. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, let's throw load, Molly.
I'm totally loaded!
I just really wish Bosco could actually harvest and then dump stuff. I missed a spot. Useless robot. Okay. It looks like there's some egg here.
Where is that damn mule?
Up. And pull out a gun, because this is gonna get gnarly. Where the heck am I doing? How big is this egg sack? Bosco, you bastard. You're in the way. Okay, the egg has to be here somewhere, right? Where did they put this? I'm so confused. Hello? I tell Bosco. to
Bosco!
harvest. Oh, come on. I can get swarmed by bugs while I'm in here. How is this all still egg? Are you shitting me right now?
Flares up!
Are you seriously telling me? It, It's down the other way? How would they do this? Ooh, sour gummy worms. I don't know, I've never really been like a big sour candy person myself. Will I eat it if it's there? Yes. I swear. Where the heckity heck is this goddamn egg? You piece of shit. I know I don't
Contact. We've got 4, wait, 6, no, 12.
crying
A
out
lot
loud.
of aliens heading your way.
Don't say that. It's just me and Bosco. Where's the exit? Oh god. All the way over there. Can I throw the? Aw.
The
You
swarm
know
is
what,
upon you.
Molly?
Come here!
We're gonna fight in the egg. Molly, where are you going? Come back here.
Another day at the office. From A to D, skipping B and C. Lighting!
Okay. That's one. And now we're stuck.
for the mule.
Oh, that's too bad. Oh, white cheddar popcorn though?
Take care.
Uh-oh.
Here,
Snack
have some
busting snacks.
extinction.
This is true. Here, look. Fight on my behest. It's the only time I'd actually have my own little bugs. Just be in the Hazbin Hotel. Which, surprise about her character. That was pretty cool. Okay, checking the map first. Which direction is it? Pretty straightforward. I hope. Ah! Let's throw that.
I'm having the best time in my life right now.
Arjun. Is it not? Boo. Alright, so we go back up that way. There was an egg here. Make sure we get that. Sounds a little Doctor Who-ish. You know what? Just a little bit. Okay, so we
Let there be light.
caramel-filled caramel. Those sound very
I'm
caramel.
out of here. Lights up.
Reinforcement
Oh
is
my
on the
god,
way.
do we actually have somebody joining us?
Come on, guys. If you don't rock and stone, you ain't coming home. Hi, mate. Have I seen you before? Platform.
Nice. Yay! Tomorrow would have been my mom's 7th birthday. She passed on Friday from this year.
Find the nitra for ammo.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Jade. Was it the
Found some face your
anniversary
night.
for my mom was last month? Yeah, it sucks. Oh, another person.
Attention,
Suddenly,
new
all the
miner
people.
inbound.
Rock and stone in the action time. I found an egg. Glad to be working with you. Molly, over here.
It sucks. It sucks a lot.
Lighting up.
I hear ya. Especially because yours was so recent too. Good crap, wrong. Well, that doesn't sound too terrible though.
Light is up. Access provided.
Oh, there's
Fossil here.
a bunch of things happening in here.
Platform create.
Oh, no, he's there. Over back here.
I need the mule right here.
Ow!
Eat it, hurry! Platform up. Born ready. Flares up. The capsules that come out of this are just what we need to dispatch the
Nicely done, team. You secured yourself
So,
a nice
one
bonus.
more egg. And it's fairly close.
Air's kinda heavy down here.
Ah, I think they're gonna get it.
Molly! Light!
Alright, we're not doing too bad.
All eggs collected. Management will be pleased. Escape pod button is activated.
I love this grappling hook.
Back over and do this.
Let's clear them out. Attention, guys. Needs assembling.
Guards incoming. Forget your weapons.
I'm just out here trying to pick a
Pickaxe is
flower
up, team. Make us
for
proud.
beer, and this asshole of a bug is like, oh, come on! Piss off. Go away.
Come again.
I'm trying to pick something. Oh shit, and they actually missed it. Come on.
What?
Just let me down a little bit. I am going to lose my shit. I'm trying so hard just to get this goddamn fucking barley bulb. Everything else is like, including this goddamn ledge. Let me have it. Thank you. Right, now I'm stuck in the wall. Are you serious right now? I'm going to commit crimes.
Taste the pickaxe. What's this? I'll never get the smell out of my arm.
We just need 8 more.
Be gone, lightning!
As long as I don't clean it.
Bam!
So I think 6 more. Bring it down here. Run out. Hey, we did it.
You did it. Core infuser active.
Like, I am the confusion.
I rock and stone to the bone. Rock and stone heart. Don't get them.
4, nice.
Music to my ears.
Let's get something fancy.
Yeah.
Ooh, Furious Clown victory move. That's not
Drop pods on the way. Hang in there.
Face unite. Platform. Lights up.
And looks like this is the way we go.
I was born ready.
Drop pod arrived. Mule is returning to LZ.
Over here by the
Drop pod departing in T-minus 5 minutes.
light. Take off.
Hey, yeah, I'm coming. Come on. We got all the fossils, all the eggs, roots. And the Furious Clown when needed.
Bloody hell, you're hot to kill. Go, go, go. Drop the wait forever. You hurry up. Drop pod isn't hanging around.
Mule is secured.
All right.
Initiating launch sequence. Deep Rock Galactic thanks you for your good work. Drop pod will leave with or without you. Extraction commencing. Good work.
Alright, rock and stone, everybody.
Yes.
Assignment mission completed. You're performing.
Alright. This one is crystalline caverns. Okay, I'll do one more.
Perfect.
Drop pod is
And
cleared. Warm up. Time to get to work, team.
Give me and my team some of that sweet Rocky Mountain brew. You know just how to treat a dwarf, Lloyd. Cheers, everyone!
Da-da. Right. Rocket Stone.
Ooh, that's nice. Feel much better now? Move it, guys! We're going planet side!
Alright.
Let's rock and roll!
This one is called Lord of the Deep. Right, and just...
Hope it'll be easier than the last time.
Get a hold of yourself!
Remember, leave no one behind.
We've set our targets on several deep wells of liquid morkite, so we're sending in a refinery for you to fill. Set the whole thing up, get it cranking, and let's pump those deposits dry. Time to build some pipelines for roughnecks. Your workforce is about to get bigger. Dwarf inbound.
Oh, and this is a pipeline connection.
Flares up!
Okay. I gotta figure out where. Oh, it looks like the base is right here. Oh, that's convenient.
A new miner is joining your team.
Oh, we got all of the miners today. The children, they yearn for the mines.
Cormorant down! From A to D, skipping B and C.
That was a dead end.
Lighting up!
Gotta figure out where the oil jacks need to be placed.
Egg fry!
Oh, one's up ahead.
Pump jack requested and is inbound.
Ordering pump jack!
2 out of 3.
Request accepted. Stand clear. Pump jack inbound.
This one's gonna be a little bit of a distance. For the pump jack, but so be it.
Let's get the pump jack connected and pumping. No more walking on eggshells!
Don't see any more glyphid eggs. Active rock and stone and mine and shaft. Yeah, I'm gonna sleep really good tonight because it was such a heavy work day.
That's it! Bag's full!
Oh no. Okay, so if we can bring up
Well
the
done.
pipe,
Pipeline successfully established.
through here. Just
Down it
deposit some
goes!
Things and figure out.
Mark! This is the pump check. Look there! Hey, Lord, look!
You
God
distracted me.
damn it, there's a pebble in my boot.
Pump jack.
Pipes up. If only someone would help me build it.
This is the most fucked up pipeline of all time. I think it was this way.
This should work.
Okay. Bring it this way. And then from here up.
Pipe construction here.
So yeah, this was the direction I took.
Let there be light.
Oh man, I hope they're not doing the same one.
Boys, what are you doing? A bang over here. My place could use a hand building it.
Oh, they might have done the exact same one. Like, are they... I don't know if they're trying to like dig straight to it, which would probably be easier than what I've been doing. Oh yeah, they are. Okay.
Booyah!
Now you're cold. No, Blitz. Who is Jack and why are we pumping him? Because he's into it. Okay, so this is useless.
This is greasy.
No, this doesn't go anywhere. So... Ah!
Flares
Not
ain't
the
ready.
swarm right now. I don't need a flare. I need
Bring the
I'm not
pain.
getting my face chewed off.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Got an egg.
Alright, where are these other guys? So it looks
Light.
like the driller's just getting to it a lot faster.
Lighting. Take off.
Oh, that can be useful. Grab some of this. Just gotta build a fun little pipe.
Second pump jack connected and ready to pump. You're doing well.
Alright.
Look over here.
Where are you pointing at?
Either something horrific happened, or a naked dwarf is running around somewhere.
A grudge buster, you say? Cool.
Everyone, I'll get some attention. Attention! See here.
Lights up.
So what's up here? Ooh, some
Cracked another one. Killer be
Well
killed.
done. Secondary objective completed.
Yay!
Zip line
Get
done.
here. Aha, here's the third one.
We need a pump jack here.
Pump jack launched. Stay clear from the impact zone.
Impact zone. My gosh, the way that I'm like, I know I still need to use Twitter for promo and
All
stuff
right,
like that,
let's
but
get the pump jacks hooked up to the
the
refinery.
way that I am just constantly getting triggered these days by like, I don't know what is with all of like the self-righteous bullshit about like kink and misogyny and stuff again. I'm like, we've
This
already
never
been
gets
over
old.
this.
Riding a roller coaster.
I don't know why. I just it's just all of these people yelling about how like kink is misogyny and violence
Swarm on a
against women,
direct
and I'm
intercept
like,
course. Get ready.
I am so done.
I feel like a plumber.
We already
Or
covered
just need
this.
a
Pick up the
big,
human
bushy
sexuality
mustache.
textbook. You dipshit.
All pipelines and pump jacks built. We're ready to
Yeah.
start extracting the liquid
X
morkite.
is on that shit
Return to
again.
the refinery
I'm
and
like,
start up the
I
pump
try
sequence.
so hard not to engage. But every once in a while, I'm just like,
Lock and load.
can you just let us nut in peace?
The liquid morkite is being extracted. Refinery and all pump jacks are working at full capacity. Be warned, the noise will draw in the locals, so stay on your toes
I
and do
don't
what
know
you
why
can to
that's so hard.
protect and
It's like it's
maintain
always stuff
the
like
equipment.
Sabrina Carpenter's album where she's like very
Nitro's been
clearly
withdrawn,
emulating
the supply
something
pod
like
is inbound.
50 Shades Esque. Everyone's so upset about it. They're like,
Incoming
how is this
wave.
feminist? I'm like,
Getting more
it doesn't
ammo.
have to be feminist, asshole. Maybe she's just cute.
I hope that wasn't on purpose.
And I love that.
Pump sequence at 25%.
Should have left my nose on the bloody spice ring.
Okay, we got a problem with the pipelines.
And I think I
Fix
just
it
want
to
to like
keep the
wallop some
extraction
people
running.
upside the back of the head. Maybe with the next one. I just be like, you just shut up.
This is fun!
This pipeline is fixed, but you need to clear all malfunctions in order for the refinery to run.
Not at present, I'm not.
Pipeline is functional again. However, we still have malfunctions in the system. The last of the wave is approaching you now. Keep it together. The extraction of liquid morkite is running again. Keep up the good work. We'll be done in no time. All the noise is pulling in the locals. Take them out before they gnaw up our
Yeah,
pipelines.
she just wants to be hot. She just wants to be hot, and I'm like, the way that I don't know, radical feminists piss me the fuck off.
We're halfway through the pump
It's like
sequence. Liquid morkite is being
it's
refined.
evangelical Christian bullshit in a different
Malfunction along the
costume.
pipeline.
Like same shit,
Maintenance
different
crew,
font.
to work.
Felt better. No more leaks.
This pipeline is fixed, but there are more outstanding issues.
I'm like, you guys, like, I know you think you mean well, but you have overcorrected. What's left on this refinery? It's this one.
Pipeline repaired, but other pipelines are still malfunctioning.
Hey,
All pipelines
go.
fixed and operational again.
misogyny in the room with us. Cute girl. I mean, I would say so if that's
Incoming
what you
swarm.
want to do.
Show them your dwarves.
It's about
Right? Heaven forbid kinky people that die.
Supplies are on the way. Pump sequence at 75%. Keep the pipelines running at all costs. The pipelines are leaking. Get on it. Get them fixed.
Oh, violet ones are so much fun. Oh, and that was like another thing is that they're always yelling about how it's like
This pipeline
men
is fixed, but there are more
dominating
outstanding
women, and I'm like,
issues.
excuse me. You know how many
Pipeline
people in the
repaired,
king
but
space
other
are gay?
pipelines are still malfunctioning.
Not just gay as fuck. Like, this is
Pipelines
not
operational again.
kink is not
You're
a
doing
straight
fine.
space.
We got company, and it's a nice one.
If the men find out we can shapeshift, they're going to attend the church. Who can find it?
Explosives, boys.
There's something big approaching,
Sentry gun needs
and I'm not a
assembly.
big
Oh! Watch that! Somebody's out!
Explosives, boys.
Is that supposed to hurt?
No.
Lloyd!
It
Who's
lingers
dropping
on your
explosives?
fire. You gutless
suspiciously
butt
close
miner.
to me.
I have
rocket is returning to orbit. We're sending in the drop pod to get you out. Hang
Really
tight.
would secretly just want to be dominated by said women. Right, Because the thing is, a lot of the times you'll find that, like, even like the men in kink spaces, they're typically neurodivergent and like queer adjacent, if not queer.
Molly, I miss you, girl.
You don't really see the classic. As funny as it is, like with 50 Shades of Grey, you don't really see straight neurotypical men in kink space. I don't think I've ever met a man who said he was kinky and thought, yeah, you're neurotypical.
Is there a bloody target painting on my back or what?
Rock and stone forever!
Two women use a
Here we
board.
go.
Oh my god.
Retrieving escape pod.
Like that! Rock and stone!
Rock and stone.
For those about to rock and stone, we salute you.
Tattoo of a snail with D2 for a shell. That's so cute.
What do we have here?
Okay. It's getting to be bedtime. Rocket stone, everybody. Thanks. It's autism.
One more
Oh
mission, and the
no.
assignment is done. Keep it up.
Not neurotypical, different people have told me. I think I'm autistic, ADHD, or OCD. Right, I think, that's going to be it for this.
To rock and stone. Nothing will stop us now.
Yeah, I need to go. I'm sorry, guys. We're gonna come back over here.
I think that's pretty.
And close that. Okay. Oh, you should go get that, Blitz. Alright, you guys. I need to get myself ready for bed and de-girl myself. I'm feeling a little low on energy for doing a raid today, so.
DE girl yourself.
Oh my goodness. You do need a treat. That you do. So I am going to hop off. I think we're gonna call it here. And Blitz says hi. Oh, there's gonna be lots of new content. Yes, absolutely gross. Oh, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Just yes, all the good things. This is Purple App, right? This is Twitch. And Patrick. But of course, you guys, please take care of yourselves. Be good to yourselves. Drink your water. Or it's not your productivity. All of that jazz. Eep. The eep is the eep. The eep is up on me. So anyway. Boops. Good night, you guys. I'll talk to you later. I'll probably be streaming on Wednesday. Good night.